WFSX AM from the Rock to downtown Fort Myers. We are
the most interesting 2 minutes of the show right here for you folks. This is where David and I don't talk to one another.
You are looking live.
Where we don't come up with a poll question and where we don't discuss anything that we're going to talk about on the show today. What we do is we wait till 6:01, get on the air, and then try to go through those exercises.
And then do it.
Yes.
Right.
That's how we roll around here. For those joining early, even though I know no one's on, if you watch this and, watch a rerun of it, for David, redoing the studio a little bit, put a couple of new arrangements. I have Secretariat over my left shoulder in case David wants to interview the pitcher. Couldn't get Oscar Robinson here.
No. Well, Secretariat was one spot ahead of the Big O.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see this, David. This is the Turner Cup.
That
is me with the Turner Cup the day after when we were having competitions to see who could throw it the farthest in a pool.
So like 94?
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. Miller
really upset that my daughter will not read one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish on Twitch because I needed content. That's what we've come to.
And Moulton.
Well, we need to explain to her the pilot program, and we need 25 hours of programming a week. So you need to deliver your 12 minutes a day, 5 times a week, because that's an hour, honey.
Southwest
Because that's an hour, honey.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Oh, I like
It's up to you now. It's up to you.
I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton on this first Thursday of June. It is the 4th of the month. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels, where I've already been called Skinny.
Skinny D. That's what I was just going to say. Good morning, Skinny D. How are you?
Listen, I don't want to say that it's radical or anything, but I put on a pair of shorts this morning, and I could have fit an entire jar of peanut butter in between where the belly is and where the button is. And I put the belt on, and I put it through as many loops as I could. And I got up from the bed and took a step, and my shorts just dropped.
That's awesome. I mean, David, I know that, pain-wise, and you're not 100% yet. I think everybody's aware of that, and not even close. Probably more like 50. But it's got to be the little things right now. I know you're in a little bit of pain here and there, but if you didn't have the most joyous smile in the world when those shorts fell down to the ground, I don't know what it's going to take, my friend.
I just looked at my wife, and she looked at me, and I said, "You're married to a rapper." All right. Can't keep my pants on. Can't keep them covering the old tuchus there. All right. I feel exposed all the time. So, yep, that's where we are. We're Skinny D now. Down from when most people have last seen me, about 50, but down 40 because of, the events of the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago today, I had the surgery. Had the kidney out 2 weeks ago today.
Remarkable. Do you feel much different with one kidney?
No. It's, it's just so far from feeling quote unquote normal yet, Mark. I'm told it's a 6 to 8 week recovery. Sleep is so hard right now. I can't get comfortable, can't rest. Feel like I have something between a barbell and a heavy tire right in the middle of my midsection. And while it doesn't cause a lot of pain, it causes pressure and discomfort. And it's just seemingly difficult to just relax and therefore rest. And so the last component to this rehab is being able to rest, being able to get sleep. And I'm not getting enough of it. right now. And it has nothing to do with the show. It has, I mean, like, for example, last night I literally was in bed at 7:30 and was asleep a little after 8 o'clock, but was up by 11. And from 11 to 5, I have no idea if I got any sleep. I mean, I really don't. So that's the last part of this equation that needs to come together, is somehow, some way, the rest component.
Well, when you can figure out how to sleep 8 hours in a row, let me know, because I'd love to do the same damn thing.
I was going to say, if I get 6, I'll consider it a win.
Yeah, if you can figure out how to get 6, let me know. I hit this a little earlier than you, waking up 2-3 times a night thing. So I understand where you're coming from, but I know you're not sleeping really at all, and there's a huge, huge difference. Well, David, it is the baseball hour, and I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot of sports stuff that's happening every day now. The leagues are, putting information out on what seems to be an almost daily basis. But we do know that the owners yesterday rejected the 114-game proposal officially.
Yes, they did.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I mean, I'm glad they put that out, because I really thought this whole time, David, they were gonna pass that.
Yeah, it's what they then did or didn't do that is really the big news. They rejected the 114-game proposal and then said, yeah, we're not going to make a counter proposal. You guys are sticking to your guns, so to speak, in late March, in which you said, hey, you negotiated the terms of what baseball was going to be like this year, in which it said you were going to get full prorated salaries. Well, we read the terms of our agreement from late March pretty closely also, and it pretty much says we can institute however long a season we want. And we don't want a very long season. This ain't worth it to us. So right now, the owners, separate from the players, and apparently, Mark, for a couple hours yesterday, all they did was yell at one another. And now the owners reportedly are working on their own 48 to 52 game season. And they think they can just implement it. Now, there are other parts, safety issues with COVID and what have you, that they actually need the union to sign off on. But the owners feel that they can just say, this is the season. Boom. 48 games. Here it is. Here's when it'll start. Here's when it'll end. Thank you very much. You guys don't have a say in this. Read the fine print. You don't have a say. That's where we're at. Look at all the other sports, even MLS.
Got there. Yeah, I mean, we joked during a break, and we had the first ever MLS contract discussion in the history of Miller and Moulton a couple of days ago during a commercial break. But they were going to lock out the players.
Yes.
They had basically, there was a 1.25% difference in income of what they wanted, and they told the players flat out, you don't come to where we are, we're locking you out. Don't know what to tell you. Deal got done.
2020 season. Right.
Deal got done.
And they put it off. Tuesday was supposed to be the drop dead date. The players and the league said, we think we're making progress here. Can you give us 24 more hours? They pushed it back to yesterday. And then sure enough, they came to a deal. And so the MLS is also going to call Orlando home. All the teams are going to go there, and they're going to have some kind of 2-month-long cup. Okay, great. But even the MLS, which outside of baseball was the most contentious negotiation between the players and a league, they got it done.
And baseball has made really zero progress.
Zero. After negotiating what both sides thought was a fairly simple, easy to understand agreement in late March, which was going to lead to, whenever it came time to play again, a simple, easy to understand agreement. And a lot of people looked at the agreement in late March, Mark, as the first sign of maybe these two sides won't have as acrimonious a CBA negotiation after the 2021 season. Seth said something on the show yesterday in which, if you're baseball, I really think you need to seriously consider this. If this season is going to be this big of a joke, do you just cancel the season and do you start negotiating a new CBA now? Make something productive out of 2020 and do what the NFL and the players did, which was negotiate an extension to the CBA a year early. I mean, is that what baseball needs to get out of 2020? Forget this joke of a season and this acrimonious of a season. And there really is a great debate, Mark. I mean, I actually believe baseball will virtually skate, that there will be so much other sports, it'll be out of sight, out of mind, and that baseball won't take the beating if they don't play this year that a lot of people think they will.
You may be right, because your point about the other sports is clearly there, and the void will be filled in August and September like we've never had it filled before. This will be remarkable. Skip the stick and ball sports all going on. We're going to have horse racing and tennis and major golf championships at times we've never had them. So to your point, David, there is going to be enough sport going on. They have made such a PR mess of this that they will be bruised regardless. I don't know if they will skate per se, but it may lean more towards what you're saying than what I've been saying, is that it will crush the sport. And largely, that's what most were saying in our Twitter poll a couple of days ago. That gets us, David, to yesterday's poll question. You know, we didn't take a lot of grief, but anytime you put up the name Colin Kaepernick in a question and put it up on a show, there's going to be people who are going to be all over you for bringing up a subject that, in their opinion, is no longer valid on sports radio because he's not good enough or whatever the case may be. David was the one that came up with the question. I thought it was a brilliant question given the times that we're in right now. And I don't know if anybody else paid attention, but this question seemed to carry on past the Miller and Moulton show. In fact, such a good question that it was asked on a Yahoo Finance interview with Drew Brees. And Drew Brees doubled and tripled down on standing for the national anthem.
Yes. He reiterated his stance and his response from back in 2016.
And let me tell you that it did not go well when he repeated it from 4 years ago.
Was not well received.
And by not well received, it was crushed by most every NFL player, including several teammates.
Who took to social media and, didn't hold back.
No.
I mean, his star wideout, Michael Thomas, took to social media, but Malcolm Jenkins, who was a Saint, then an Eagle, back being a Saint, and Malcolm Jenkins, very much a leader, particularly when it deals with off-the-field issues with the players in the NFL. And Malcolm Jenkins with two emotional posts. And it will be very interesting to see where Drew Brees goes from here.
Well, that's a great point, David, because the biggest Drew Brees news this offseason has been he is going to replace Chris Collinsworth on NBC whenever that time comes, or studio host, or whatever the hell he's going to do for NBC. But he is the man in waiting to be their NFL analyst voice for a generation. That's what they're hoping. They're hoping that they've got their guy. They've got their Tony Romo, and they're riding off into the sunset with them.
Correct. Brees signed a long-term deal with NBC. Now, just very quickly, Collinsworth kind of stayed in the bullpen for like 6 years until John Madden retired. And so, there's no guarantee that they're going to push Collinsworth out right away. But yeah, Drew Brees is going to be the guy. I mean, Mike Tirico and Drew Brees are now lined up to replace Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth at some point in time and be the faces and the voices of the NFL on NBC for a generation. Yeah. And so there were some people that were wondering whether or not, based on the beating he was taking yesterday, whether or not Drew should walk a year early. I think that's
there are a lot in the media wondering if he should still get the job with NBC.
Well, it's signed.
Oh, I know.
It's signed.
I understand, but there's a lot of language in contracts that you can get out of.
Well, he didn't do anything to violate his contract. I mean, he didn't violate the morals clause of his contract just because you have a stance on a social issue.
I understand, but they're going to. NBC will start getting heat for this when they hire him.
They've already gotten it. Oh, yeah, they got it by late lunch yesterday. Oh, there's no doubt that Drew and NBC and Drew's people and what have you. I mean, Drew's got to figure out how it is he's going to handle this. Is he going to double and triple down? Is he going to start the apology tour?
Sure didn't seem like it the way he spoke yesterday. I'd be shocked.
Well, my guess is he's going to try to thread a needle here.
Exactly.
My guess is he's going to, talk about an open dialogue with his teammates, and he's going to do some listening, and he'll, keep an open mind, blah, blah, blah. I also think he'll try to say that the two issues are separate to him. That's what I think he'll try to do. I don't know if he'll be able to pull it off. It was fascinating. There was a rally, a protest, whatever it is you want to describe it as. It was peaceful in New Orleans last night. And at one point, now remember, this is New Orleans. Drew Brees is a hero in New Orleans. Drew Brees was there post-Katrina. Drew and his family have called New Orleans home. They don't live elsewhere in the offseason. He has raised millions and done a staggering amount for the surrounding communities in New Orleans for 14 years.
By all accounts and by everybody, Drew Brees is as close to a great guy as there is in the league. Nice person, does a lot for charity. He's way out of bounds with what he said yesterday, in my personal opinion. I know a lot of you probably think he hit the nail right on the head. I think you're wrong. I think it's tone deaf in today's world to say what he said.
Well,
tone deaf.
We'll get to the answer of our poll question yesterday, and we could tell just how many of you agree in step with what Brees said yesterday. But at this protest early in the evening, in New Orleans last night, a chant emerged of F. Drew Brees, and that became the chant for a few minutes. At a rally in New Orleans, Drew Brees. Mark, you went to a Saints game in New Orleans in the last couple years. How many people, what percentage of Saints fans, I think it is a high jersey wearing crowd.
It's it's very much Pittsburgh. It's very much Green Bay. Yes, it's a diehard town. I mean, it's the only way you can describe it. It's a college atmosphere, for crying out loud. It's great. Let's just say for a number, 30% of the people are wearing jerseys. Of that 30%, well over half, probably close to 75% of those are wearing Drew Brees jerseys.
Yeah. You just see number 9
everywhere.
So this is big news across the NFL because he's a superstar. He's a Hall of Famer to be. I mean, this is the guy who could end up. I mean, it's him and Brady right now, neck and neck for a couple of the all-time passing records, which may actually last for an hour and a half when they're done. I mean, you might get the Ryans and the Staffords or whoever of the world that may eventually track them down, but these records might last 8 to 10 years. And so Drew Brees, who also is supposed to be the face of one of the major broadcast networks in their NFL coverage going forward for the next, damn near generation. I mean, he's 40. I mean, how long can he broadcast for? I mean, if he's any good at it, he could have a 25-year run easy. And so Drew Brees caught up in the events of the last 10 days and the repercussions going all the way back to Colin Kaepernick and his kneeling in the summer of 2016, which led us to our poll question yesterday, which was, in light of recent events, have you changed your tune at all concerning Colin Kaepernick? Yay, nay, or no, because I already agreed with him in the first place.
7.6%, David. Those are the people that change their mind. The voting's still open for a few more minutes. We had 225 votes. Just over, 7.6%. 7.6% changed their mind.
So 1 out of 13 of you have changed your opinion concerning Colin Kaepernick based on recent events. 1 out of 13. How does the other 92+% break down?
55% are in the no category and 38% are in the I supported him from day one category.
Okay. Now, what's important to note here is that, our poll question, the majority of those that responded said, no, I've changed my tune. Well, neither's Drew Brees. And this is, the New York Times, not to get political here, but the New York Times is in some hot water with basically their base today. Their left of center readership. They're in trouble because they printed an op-ed from a conservative Republican senator in which he said basically, send in the tanks. All right, we need to restore law and order here. And people are canceling their subscriptions, and the Times is really under. Yesterday for the New York Times was as bad a day as it was for Drew Brees. And the New York Times is trying to say it's called an op-ed page, not a agree with page, not a me-ed page. You present various opinions here. It's an opinion section. You decide whether you agree or not. He is a sitting senator. He wanted to get this point across. We said we'd be more than happy to print it. And so, I am on the side of the New York Times in this one. We don't have to agree, but I do think we should discuss. Come on, we do sports talk radio. We do talk radio for a living. How could you or I be against the sharing of opinions and the discussing of them? That would seem to be the definition of hypocritical, or even go so far as to say stupid. And so now here's Brees. And that's why, to me, it is interesting. First off, Mark, I think he has enough status. If he wants to triple down, he can. And he can get away with it. I really believe that. I believe it.
First
off, doesn't say it's not going to hurt him.
No, it's going to hurt him. He can triple down because, one, when we start playing football, the New Orleans Saints are going to be a really good football team.
First game of the year, by the way, Brady at Brees.
And winning cures all evils. But, David, right now, they're picked to win the division. I think they're a game or a game and a half better than Tampa in the over-unders.
A lot of people look at New Orleans as maybe the best team in the NFC.
Yes, I know. And I just wonder when teammates, Drew Brees can double and triple down, and the media is never going to kill Drew Brees because Drew Brees has done too much good to have that knocked off over this stance. The locker room, David, is a different story.
Well, and to me, this is the fascinating subplot for not just the Saints, but quite frankly, not just 31 other locker rooms, but 130 locker rooms in college and or 30 locker rooms, or 22, I guess it'll be in the NBA. And you know what I'm saying. I mean, just, is this going to linger? Is this, it's been 10 days now in our country, but let's face it, we've had other issues, controversies. Eventually we pack up, we go back home, we move on with our lives, and then we see whether or not something has a shelf life. And Mark, I guess what I'm wondering is, do we think, and based on something you and I said yesterday, I think we believe the answer is yes, because you and I believe there's going to be a lot of kneeling this year in the NFL.
A ton. I've said it all along. I misspoke yesterday, flat out misspoke when I said it'll happen at college games. If college players are on the sidelines for the anthem, which they are typically not, I do believe players will kneel. I sincerely believe that. But I was getting ahead of myself because I'm trying to think, and I spent about an hour after the show trying to think of other college games. Do I ever remember being then, any team being out there? So I don't, the college, David, I'm telling you, if players are on the sideline for a high school game this year, you're going to watch high school players kneel.
Well, and I do think you're going to see more members of the band who are kneeling.
Yes.
Like you only saw a handful who did it.
And cheerleaders.
3+ years ago, right. I do think, believe me, in 2016 and 2017, we were paying very close attention as the anthem was being played as to whether or not there was a band member of an SEC school who was taking a knee. Believe me, we were looking for it. And there was not a one. And I don't think that will be the case this year.
Neither do I.
Miller and Moulton. So a fascinating poll question yesterday. Wet your finger, put it up in the air. 3+ years later, based on recent events, you changed your tune at all about Colin Kaepernick and what it is that he claims that he was about, and only about 8% of you have changed your tune. Otherwise, those opinions from 3-4 years ago, whether you're against Colin or whether you were for Colin, well, they are etched in stone. And Mark, I wonder, will there be a public opinion going forward that tries to ask this same question? Whether it's about Kaepernick or whether it uses the police brutality or however it is it gets phrased. But asking people essentially, hey, from one election cycle to the next, all right, have you changed your tune on this? And what will the percentage be? Because right now, if you look at all the media, all right, it seems as if there's this overwhelming feeling of change. All right, people, all right, I've seen the light, so to speak. I'm going to think about things differently. I'm going to do things differently. Well, the first time that we wet our finger and put it up in the air and just tried to gauge the winds of change, 7.7%.
Right. And, ultimately, David, there's still one news station, and since I got DirecTV, they have one great channel that I really enjoy. It's the News Mix. I get CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and BBC News on there. And I play this little game where I can take the voice and move it, and I go, the world is ending. Everything's great. The world is ending. Everything's great. And then I flip it to MSNBC and say, the world has ended. And that's how my little game ends. But in watching the side-by-side captions several times a day, David, it's pretty obvious why the poll questions are the way they are. If you watch and are locked into one side, I don't think you've changed one bit. And I'll ask you this question. You can answer it after the break. But on Twitch, we were asked, so are we just assuming that kneeling for the anthem is more popular in locker rooms than in the general population? I would answer yes by a landslide, considering that the NFL locker room is predominantly black. And in our country, I believe that African Americans make up somewhere around 13-14% of the population.
Yeah.
So,
kneeling will be a lot more popular
yes.
Inside locker rooms than they will be in the general public. A lot more. And that may be ultimately where this issue lasts the longest. I mean, America may have well moved on by the fall. I mean, let's face it. That's a long time from now. We have very short attention spans.
I know. It is an election year. I have trouble seeing that we're going to move away from this that quickly, though.
Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. The starting five is on the other side. We'll come up with a poll question to try to engage you the way that yesterday's did. Got a lot to talk about on the show today. Thanks for making us part of your day. We're Miller and Moulton, and this is Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
We are fighting for your communities.
I'm the guy that fights injustice.
We're giving you a voice.
It's Fox.
We're letting you know that we have your back.
There is a ton of optimism.
Whether it affects your world.
Well, what different way were you thinking of, Trenton?
We are here for your community.
We are excited to join you.
Yes.
And here they are. We are Fox Sports Radio. And we are here for you.
Marketplace is sponsored by Kronos, helping businesses attract, retain, and engage employees through cloud-based human capital management. Kronos.com. Kronos, workforce innovation that works.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor. The Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. Do the math. Taking care of your pool is probably not a good use of your time and money. Free $50 Bonefish gift certificates when you sign up for one of our award-winning weekly service plans. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
It's Fred Kobe with your Kobe Cooling Tip of the Day. There's a trend in the air conditioning business to buy up small companies and become a giant conglomerate like George Soros. Those ambitious corporate giants, to them I say, good luck. If you want to be just another number in the corporate bottom line, they'll be happy to take your money. Kobe Cooling is a local, hometown family with our focus on you, our family of customers. We know your name, and we remember your needs. Your comfort is our priority, and you're the most important part of our company. At Kobe Cooling, we value our personal, small-town relationship with you. It's been that way since my dad started his company in 1949, and at Kobe Cooling, it's never going to change. We're not for sale today, and we never will be. When you think of air conditioning companies, we hope you'll think of Kobe Cooling. No nonsense and no pressure. We're the company your neighbors use. Kobe, the most trusted name in this business since 1949. License CACO 57313.
Listen to the Dan Patrick Show at work.
Never boring, that's for sure.
Streaming 24/7 at foxsportsfm.com.
We are Fox. For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
Dan Martineau here, owner of D.R. Martineau Roofing of Southwest Florida. We're still finding a lot of roofs with hurricane and windstorm damage. Call us today for a free inspection. Google DRM Roofing or call 239-332-1441.
License number CCC 1326954.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
We've got our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples, on the phone. We're talking about their huge selection and great pricing on Core-Tec flooring. Tim, tell us what's new at the store.
Right now we have 90 colors of Core-Tec in stock, ready to go pick up, put down as soon as you want it.
So you're try it now. There's a spike in opinion within the locker rooms different than the rest of the world. First poll I found by a 69% to 22% mark, more African American. Yes, more African Americans than it's white. You know why? Because they're the ones being persecuted. They're the ones getting beaten up by cops. I mean, come on. I'll do this in the commercial with anybody all goddamn day long. Come on. Why? What would you think?
For Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
Cathedral Roofing Innovations. Now, Hurricane Irma was a long time ago, but believe it or not, problems with tile roofs, they continue to occur as a result. Now, many homeowners are now feeling the effects of the hidden damage.
I just don't, I mean, that's the poll. Of course that's the poll.
Whether it's new leaks, cracked, unsecured tiles.
I mean, we have hundreds, millions of people marching in streets right now, complaining. And far and away, 98% of these protests are peaceful. One channel seems to focus on riots a lot. Trust me, I'm watching more news than most people. I sit all afternoon and watch this, and into the night, because I got nothing else to do. I retired as a teacher yesterday.
And just because you retired, that's it.
I damn well better be. We're not putting these kids back in class next fall in August. I'm going to be one pissed off teacher.
And they will start the inspection process right away. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com. Cathedralroofingnaples.com.
License number CCC 1331928.
Here we go. Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
26 minutes before 7 o'clock, Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming this and every show on the station at foxsportsfm.com and broadcasting live once again on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels, and a very lively discussion going on in the Twitch TV chat room. Without further ado, time now for
the starting five. 5 big stories that you need to know. This is Miller and Moulton Starting 5. Fox Sports Radio and foxsportsfm.com.
The NBA Board of Governors expected to vote today, Mark, and they're expected to approve 22 teams resuming the schedule. They'll play 8 regular season games each. That's it. Of the 22 teams, by the way, 13 will be Western Conference, so all but 2 in the West, but only 9 in the East. So 6 Eastern Conference team seasons are, in fact, done. The games will resume in Orlando on July 31st. 8 regular season games each. Here's what the NBA is going to do. If the 8 seed is more than 4 games ahead of the 9 seed, that's it. It's over. If the 9 seed and or 10 or 11, if they're within 4 games of the 8 seed, there will be some kind of play-in for the final playoff spot. Right now, Orlando is the 8 in the East. They have, I believe, a 5.5 game lead on Washington. Meanwhile, Memphis is the 8 in the West, and they have a 3.5 game lead over the 9 seed. So there you have it. It'll be voted today, but that is the expectation as to what will get voted and passed. NFL news, we spoke about it a lot in the last half hour. Drew Brees reiterated his Colin Kaepernick national anthem stance by saying he views it as being disrespectful to the flag and the military by kneeling. The blowback yesterday was severe. Teammates Michael Thomas and Malcolm Jenkins lashed out at him. What's interesting is Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think this was meant specifically for Drew Brees, but the timing of it matched up perfectly. Rodgers finally spoke out in the last 10 days, and this is what he tweeted out. Quote, "It has, all caps, never been about an anthem or flag. Not then, not now." So interesting, superstar quarterbacks on the opposite sides of this. And we'll see where this goes with Drew Brees, who's very popular and a Hall of Famer to be, and has already signed on to be the face and the voice of the NFL on NBC for the next generation. And we'll see where his views go from here. Because we said yesterday at this time, Mark, we thought that Denver Broncos head coach Vic Fangio was going to have a change of heart, because he said something on Tuesday in addressing the media in which he said, "I don't see racism in the NFL." And he went on to explain that it's a meritocracy and you play who's ever's best, etc. Well, needless to say, there was some blowback from that statement.
No.
Yes, there was, Mark. There was some blowback. And Vic Fangio, just a day later, said, well, I was wrong. I should have been more clear. I'm sorry. And he claimed that he was talking about it from where he is, in his shoes. All right. And we said, and Vic, an older coach, it is the first time he didn't become a head coach till he was 61. So, Vic waited a long time to get his opportunity. But we thought that Vic might have a change of heart and might see things a little bit differently before the week was out. And it turned out it lasted 24 hours. So Fangio in Denver took 24 hours to clarify what he meant. We'll see if Drew Brees, how long it takes for him to clarify, or if, in fact, he's doubling down. Mark, the day started yesterday, shortly after this show, with the news that Johnny Majors had died at the age of 85. Johnny Majors should have won the Heisman in 1956. Johnny Majors was the 2-time SEC Player of the Year as a tailback and punter for Tennessee. But
I just love that. Sorry, I just love that.
Yes.
Tailback and punter. I mean, I know you got a long story here, but that's the part of the 50s and the 60s in football that's great. Quarterback and kicker.
Yes. Tailback and punter.
Right.
Yes.
That's just
Loved
terrific
it.
stuff.
But Johnny Majors led Tennessee to a 10-1 season and an SEC title in 1956, and he finished second to Paul Hornung of Notre Dame for the Heisman Trophy, and Notre Dame won 3 games that year. And that is still a legendary Heisman snub. And those in Tennessee feel that between Johnny Majors in 56 and Peyton Manning in 97, that they have had 2 of the legendary Heisman snubs. But when Johnny was done playing, Johnny went into coaching. Do you know he gave jobs to Jimmy Johnson, Jackie Sherrill, and John Gruden? John Gruden's first ever job in coaching came from Johnny Majors.
Wow, I did not know that.
And I believe the same for Jimmy Johnson. I think because Johnny's first head coaching job was at Iowa State, which most people don't know. And Jimmy Johnson and Jackie Sherrill were on his Iowa State staff. But ultimately, Johnny ended up at Pitt. And in 1976, he had a really good team. And he had a great tailback in Tony Dorsett. And Pitt went undefeated and won the national championship. But Mark, in between the end of the regular season, and I believe they played the Sugar Bowl that year to win the national title. In between the end of the regular season and the Sugar Bowl, Johnny Majors had agreed to leave Pitt and go back to his alma mater and coach Tennessee, because Tennessee just gave him too much money to turn down. Do you know how much money in December of 76 that Tennessee was able to lure Johnny Majors away from Pitt with?
75 grand?
Lower.
60?
Lower.
45?
Higher. 50,000 a year.
Nice.
Was enough to be able to get Johnny Majors to leave Pitt and go to Tennessee, where he was the head coach for the next 16 seasons. A member of the College Football Hall of Fame. He called Knoxville home. He had a home overlooking the Tennessee River, and his wife said yesterday morning that he passed away peacefully in his chair looking out at his beloved river. Johnny Majors was 85 years old. This slipped through the cracks yesterday, and it ain't a crack. This is a Grand Canyon story. In an unprecedented move, the NCAA restored the eligibility of Arizona State punter Michael Turk. Michael Turk declared for the draft, hired an agent, went to the combine, and then proceeded to go undrafted. He applied for reinstatement to Arizona State, and the NCAA said, okay, he's got 2 years of eligibility left. Has anybody ever heard of this before?
No.
I'm going to say it again. He declares for the draft, hires an agent. That is the universal ball game over. Went to the combine. Went undrafted. Asked the NCAA, could he go back to Arizona State and continue punting? And they said, yeah, sure, I don't see the harm. That's a pretty big precedent, don't you think?
It's humongous.
Am I missing something here? Going forward?
I mean, this is what basketball has done, David. I mean, basketball has allowed you to say you're going to go eligible and doing a lot of work, but you can't. I guess you can't get to the draft, can you?
Well, see, once you declare for the draft, you're over. All right. So, I mean, once again, declared for the draft. I mean, once you do that, you're done. Your college eligibility is over. Hired an agent, of which there's almost always gifts, cash, something that exchanges hands. Went to the combine. Went undrafted, asked to be reinstated, and the NCAA said, okay. Michael Turk, a punter, remember his name, could change college football as we know it. Now, we've said it's a lot more difficult to do in basketball. This is what some in college basketball have wanted for a long time, that something like this could happen. But what happens in basketball with only 13 scholarships, the scholarship is almost always gone.
Yes.
But
the timing
football,
of the draft doesn't help.
No.
And the NBA doesn't want to do the draft till their season. They can't do it till it's over. The timing doesn't work out. Football actually has the timing, sort of. And there's always a loose scholarship laying around.
Well, there you go. See, with 85 scholarships, how many schools are at their max? And so obviously in this case, Arizona State said to Turk, hey, good luck with the NCAA. But if they rule in your favor, we got a scholarship for you. We'll bring you back. So one other note, which we talked about, the owners in baseball rejected the players' 114-game proposal and have said there will be no counter offer. We're done negotiating. We think we can just implement what the season will be. That all we have to negotiate with you guys is travel and testing and things like that. So we're working on our own season, and the owners are insisting every game they play, they lose money. So therefore, why are we going to play a lot of games? Would you watch any of the baseball season if it's 50 games?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah, 50 games is about perfect for me. I could really jump into a 50-game baseball season. The 80-game season sounded perfect. And I know what's coming next out of your mouth, and maybe you figured it out. Maybe your half season is right. Maybe that would get my interest back in the regular season. But, David, it's hard when the team that you've always rooted for is just a dumpster fire to sit there and get fired up about baseball. I mean, you went through that for a couple of years with the Mets where it's like,
sure.
All right, they're going to lose 90 games. I don't know how much excitement I have to watch regular season baseball. I'll catch the game when this guy's pitching, or I might, slip on the game if I know. It was fun when Stanton was a Marlin.
Sure.
Because at least I could watch something else and go, ooh, probably going to be batting now, and I'll watch Giancarlo get up there and swing really hard.
And that mark at 14 minutes before the hour is...
The starting five. 5 big stories that you need to know. This is Miller and Moulton Starting 5. Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
We'll work on a poll question and then get your thoughts on what has already been a lively start of the show. 479-5551, 479-5551 is how you can chime in via the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line. Miller and Moulton, thanks for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Welcome to the program.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I kept thinking, the Patriots on in prime time. And I'm looking at this as a fan. Am I tuning in to see if Jarrett Stidham is any good, right? Who else are you tuning in to watch with the Patriots? Couple of cutaways of Belichick, great. Sony Michel, who am I tuning in to see? There is no interest in watching the Patriots.
Dan Patrick. The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays at 9 a.m. on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
Gotta go to Galliana.
Great news, Southwest Florida. Below invoice employee pricing at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. That's right. Below invoice pricing on Chrysler Pacificas, Jeep Wranglers, Jeep Gladiators, and heavy-duty Ram trucks. Over 1,500 new and certified pre-owned vehicles.
So, poll question.
Luxurious Grand Cherokee Limited Lease.
Was Drew Brees? What were your thoughts of Drew Brees' comments yesterday? Right on, tone deaf.
Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. You can drive payment-free for 4 months, interest-free for 6 years, and worry-free up to 100,000 miles. Our parts service and body shop are open to serve you. Below invoice employee pricing at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239.
Either that, or do you just want to ask, do you think Drew Brees' comments are going to cause problems within the Saints locker room? Yes, will linger all year. No. I'll get back to
message
football.
Is sponsored by the Florida A&M University
but yeah, you could
Marijuana Education
go with
and
yours.
Research
It's
Initiative,
better.
the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal.
God, I don't. I mean, Does Drew Brees, how much will Drew Brees' comments impact the Saints' chances of winning a Super Bowl?
Yeah, there you go.
I think I like that better, David. We thread the needle a little better.
Okay.
I like that.
Thanks. I'll talk to my doctor.
You want to go a lot, a little, not at all?
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. Do the math. Taking care of your pool is probably not a good use of your time and money. Free $50 Bonefish gift certificates when you sign up for one of our award-winning weekly service plans. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133.
State certified CPC 057088.
94.1 Lehigh. We are my force.
Let's face it, these are stressful times. New routines, the constant bombardment of bad news, and trying to keep you and your family safe all the time. It's Frank for Center for Men's Health. During these stressful times, your mood is so critical, and nothing's more important to a guy's mood than testosterone. The single greatest issue for guys with low T is mood, and the single greatest change for men that get low T care is a greatly improved mood. Many are grumpy when they start, and most can't believe how much their mood improves once they get treated.
A lot, a little, not at all, right?
Feel the difference C4MH.com can make.
Yeah, a lot, a little, not at all.
I've been a patient of C4MH.com.
I like it, David.
I've lost 20 pounds because now I have the energy to work out from home. And that'll put you in a good mood, too. C4MH.com's express treatment plan is convenient, affordable, and above all, safe.
Boy, I tell you, listen to Pat for 5 minutes yesterday.
Florida, there's one near you right
Ooh,
now.
Miller and Moulton fan says, can you add D? He'll change his tune.
Even in my 80s, every dive is exciting and enjoyable. When I developed cataracts years ago, I couldn't see well underwater. You can have the best gear and know the
I'll
best
do that
dive.
tomorrow, fan, once he
Your
changes his
eyes
tune.
aren't the best,
Because I don't know if he's going to.
and Dr. Scheibo knows that.
Knowing how much Jimbo cares about diving, it was a privilege to fix his vision.
It's great to know that we got eye doctors in our area that care just as much about me as I care about being in the water.
Hi, this is Dr. Scheibel from Community Eye Center. My partner, Dr. Spatafor, and I want to remind everybody, don't be a spreader. The coronavirus is so tiny, 100 million particles fit on the head of a pin. As we run around in our trucks and cars and play golf and go fishing and go to work and do the things we like to do, we are spreading the virus. The virus can only move with us. Over 65, diabetes, COPD. All these folks will be hurt severely by this virus. Wash your hands. Be careful. Don't be a spreader.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Eight minutes before the top of the hour. Thanks for making us part of your day. We're Miller and Moulton. This is Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com and broadcasting live on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. You can chime into the show rather easily at 479-5551. 479-5551 is how you can be heard on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line.
Probably should pull that up so I could read those that are texting.
Yeah.
But we did.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, there's a lot going on this morning, David.
Yeah, there is
lively
a lot
commercial
going on.
breaks.
Yeah. And a lot of interaction on the Twitch chat room. Trenton GL. My goodness.
He and I have been going at it. Not really going at it. We've been
discussing. Right. Been discussing. So I was asked, by the way, have I gotten my edibles yet? No. Working on it. But no. Thanks for asking, though.
Someone says, will kneeling in an empty stadium have a greater or lesser impact? If the players are sincere, it won't matter. I think it will have a greater impact because so many eyeballs are going to be on TV.
Well, once again, though, will the network show it? Will the network show it? Remember, they started off by showing it. Then they stopped showing it. So you didn't really know if it was happening or not. You had to go by written accounts as to whether or not anybody was still kneeling, because the NFL picked up the phone and said to their broadcast partners, don't show anybody kneeling. Thanks. We don't need the grief. How about this, which we haven't gotten into at all, Mark? Remember, it affected ratings first time around.
It did. And it will again. There's no doubt it will again.
You think so?
Yeah, not as badly, but it will. David, those that are in the corner of you never kneel for the anthem are never going to change. 7.6% of the people in our audience said they, it's not a lot of change, David.
No, it's 1 out of 13. 1 out of 13 of you basically said that whether it's time or the events of the recent 10 days has changed your tune on what it was that Kaepernick was kneeling about some 4 years ago. 1 out of 13 of you. That's it.
The flag is something that people cannot get past when it comes to a protest. They can't. They don't look beyond it. They don't look as to the whys. And what would be interesting is the way Cap was attacked by the president last time. If Washington gets into attacking several people, the whole league again, because it was really after one guy. Even though there were others doing it, it was aimed at Cap.
Well, yeah, but he did lump them all together. He called them SOBs, and he said they should all be fired.
And as
it resonated.
Yeah, and we've got a on Twitch here, a few coworkers of mine stopped watching the NFL because of the kneeling.
Now, can you ask them, have they come back?
You just did. Hopefully we'll get that answer. So, I
didn't watch hockey for a year. Those of us took some time off from baseball. The ratings say that everybody who stopped watching the NFL in 2016 and 17 has come back.
Right.
So now we ask the question again, if we have more kneeling in 2020, well, first off, will it be shown? It's the old, if a tree falls in a forest, but nobody sees or hears it, did it really happen? If we have kneeling, but it's not being shown, is it really happening?
And we got one text. You mentioned the Michael Turk story. He just simply texted Kurt Flood equals Michael Turk ?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's a hell of a question,
1
sir.
minute.
It's a hell of a question.
Yeah.
Because you may be onto something.
There's some belief that the reason that this was done has something to do with the coronavirus, which I don't quite understand. If so, then it could be obviously a unique one-off, because we don't think we're going to have a pandemic any other year in the near future. But I think that the NCAA set some precedent yesterday. You can declare for the draft, sign for an agent, go to the combine, get undrafted, raise your hand and say, I still have eligibility. Can I come back and play? And they said, yes. Wow.
Stunning, particularly if you followed the way the NCAA has conducted business for generations. Miller and Moulton. Poll question is up. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, taking your texts and calls for the rest of the day on Miller and Moulton, Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports.
Dial star 2020. Friends, I care.
When it comes to cataract surgery, the lens you choose matters. And Dr. Jonathan France and the caring team of surgeons at France Eye Care want to help you navigate your vision challenges with an intelligent solution, the PanOptix intraocular lens. Dr. France, proud to not only be the first in Southwest Florida to bring you the breakthrough technology of the trifocal solution, he's also the #1 PanOptix surgeon in the state of Florida. PanOptix, specially designed to help patients see 20/20 at distances that are near, far, and even in between. Experience the freedom of living without glasses for distance driving, computers, and reading. With PanOptix, you'll experience a clear advantage that you didn't know was possible. See your future in 2020. Find out if you are a candidate for PanOptix today by dialing ** 2020 from your cell phone or call 239-418-0999.
Friends, I care.
We work for you.
You know how it works, right?
We do this for you.
It's not often that you get to work with somebody who you respect.
We give you the information you need.
Every single day there's a news story. We got a story.
We've been working on that all morning long.
We do this all for you.
Which is how the business works.
We are Fox Sports Radio. And we're working hard for you.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
Dan Martineau here, owner of D.R. Martineau Roofing of Southwest Florida. I've been repairing and replacing roofs for 27 years. We operate with integrity, knowledge, and service. Google DRM Roofing or call 239-332-1441.
License number CCC 1326954.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
The sports station with balls and strikes. We also have strikes. WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. We are Fox Sports. Here's what's trending now. Brought to you by the Center for Men's Health. C4MH.com.
Where do you want to go here, David?
Well, we need to throw our poll question out there. We never did.
Okay.
And then just keep chewing on what we started chewing on. I'm telling you, the biggest sports story yesterday could be Michael Turk.
There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep, that's it. Miller.
Really upset that my daughter will not read one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish on Twitch because I needed content. That's what we've come to.
And Moulton.
Well, we need to explain to her the pilot program, and we need 25 hours of programming a week. So you need to deliver your 12 minutes a day, 5 times a week, because that's an hour, honey.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Yes! Oh, I like
It's up to you now. It's up to you.
I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Hour number 2 of Miller and Moulton on this first Thursday of June. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. We stream this and every show on the station at foxsportsfm.com. And we are broadcasting live once again on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. Sign up for them. Not only do you get a chance to see the show on Twitch, you can be interactive during the show, during the commercial breaks, and the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels are free. Be on the lookout for millerandmoulton.com and its redesign, and I'll even start doing some writing again.
Got forced into that, didn't you?
A little bit, but there are some things that occasionally I want to say.
No, I know, and we did ask. I did ask, and you kind of it goes along. It really tells you where our working relationship has come, David. It's come to the point where it's basically like when you're going to finish the show and talk to your wife. You're going to ask her something. She's not going to hear you. You're going to say, well, I asked you about that 4 days ago. And she's going to go, no, you didn't. That's kind of how I feel. It's like, what do you think if we put a blog on there, David? Okay. When did we talk about a blog?
Right. Wait, is this an everyday thing? Oh, man.
No. It's whenever you feel like it is what it is.
Gotcha. You can chime into the show via the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line 479-5551. That's 479-5551. Speaking of the wife, coming up on an anniversary.
Really?
24.
Woo!
Yeah. Oh, good God. Remember, oh, good God was at 15. And she looked at me and went, oh, good God, when I was reminding her we were coming up on 15 years of marriage.
Yeah, but you did just beat cancer, so I would think this one she'll look at you a little more lovingly. You might even get a hug.
I don't know about beat, but
beating.
We put it on hold anyway.
That's right.
At least we think so. So 479-5551. 1. You mentioned our poll question before the break. You said it's up. What is it?
Our poll question today centers around Drew Brees. How much will Drew Brees' comments yesterday affect the Saints' chances of winning a Super Bowl? A lot, a little, not at all.
I say not at all. Not at all.
I say a little, and here's why, David.
Look at you.
To steal a quote from you. Who's their first game against?
It's against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The team that we all think that the Saints will have to hold off to repeat winning the NFC South. I think that goes without saying right now that everyone believes Tampa is the second best team in that division.
Correct.
And while I think it will just be a little, the little could be enough to change one game. And if it changes the game that starts the season, it could be the difference between the Saints being at home throughout the playoffs or being a wild card. And that is everything to the New Orleans Saints. And while a little, I mean, you could almost, to me, put a little into a lot, because one game different for the Saints, and they're not at home for the NFC Championship, well, then the odds are they're not going to win it.
And my belief is that, first off, this is the first week of June. We got a long time to go till the regular season starts. I mean, it's 14 weeks tonight until the Chiefs and the Texans kick off. It's 101 days away until the Bucs and the Saints play in New Orleans. I mean, we got a long time. But even if they don't work this out, even if Drew's views are different than the majority of his teammates' views, Mark, teammates have disagreed on non-football and non-sports things for years.
Oh, absolutely. And 4 years ago was contentious in NFL locker rooms. I mean, it was one of the side stories of the last presidential election. I'm not doing politics here, but there were stories about it. There was huge dissension inside of some locker rooms where some guys were really pro-Trump and other people weren't. So it will be decisive in a lot of locker rooms again this fall, David.
But I don't know that it determined who won the Super Bowl or who made the playoffs. That, to me, ultimately, they are professionals. I mean, come on, co-hosts have hated one another and done a terrific show. I mean, you don't think players could genuinely disagree about something, and it could even get heated, and they could maybe even not like one another, but still, as John Madden famously said, play like hell on Sundays. And so, I think it'll be great for the beat writers of the Saints and for those that cover the league as a whole if Brees doesn't back down. Quite frankly, it'll be a great subplot, but I don't think it'll mean a hill of beans. I really don't.
And I'm at the a little.
Third and four. I just because Michael Thomas is furious with Drew Brees because of his views on this matter, to me, is not going to impact whether or not A, he gets open, or B, the accuracy of Brees' throw. That's just me. But we'll see.
That is our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton.
And MillerandMoulton.com.
Did get this comment on our Twitch chat room. I believe it's Mark. Said, I was against Cap kneeling at games during the anthem, not the protest, but when he was doing it. Now I'd be disappointed if all teams aren't kneeling together and the network's showing it.
Well, I don't think the networks are going to show it, because the networks would have to go out of their way to show it. When the anthem gets played in an NFL game, CBS and Fox and ESPN, for that matter, are still in their pregame shows. It's like 5-1 or thereabouts. They have not broken away from studio and gone on site yet. So the networks would have to break away from what they normally do to show the kneeling. And I'm just going to throw this out there. If week one, they show the kneeling, they break away from the pregame shows to show the kneeling, it will be because the league wants them to. That the league has decided that they, Park Avenue, that they are taking a stance, that they have changed their tune from 4 years ago. And I don't believe that the league will do that, because ultimately, what is this league? This league's a business. It's a business. Mark, if you were running a business and you have two choices here, show the kneeling, don't show the kneeling, what would you tell the networks to do?
I wouldn't show it.
There you go. There you go.
If I was running a network, I wouldn't show it.
Well, if you're running it now, remember, Park Avenue could call the network and actually say, I want you to show the kneeling. Now, I don't think they would do it, but it's possible. I mean, that's something the NBA would do. Make no mistake, that is something that Adam Silver would do. And the NFL has changed its tune on social justice and on the kneeling and the anthem issue. And the NFL tried to release a statement last week. Now, they got destroyed by the players and some of the people covering the league, basically saying, hey, guys, you can't come around now, not after what you've done for the last few years. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Now, which is another discussion we can have in this country. Are you allowed to change your mind? What's the statute of limitations on changing your opinion?
Yeah, and that's the one that's always baffled me. We constantly tell people to get smarter and to evolve, and then when they change their mind on something, they hold against what they said many, many years ago. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I will say, to back up your point on Jenkins and Breeze, David, Jenkins did post a couple of things on Instagram. He was very angry.
Yes.
But he also said, I was trying to muster up the energy and words to address Drew Brees' comments. I recorded this video. Before I could post it, Drew reached out to me to discuss his point of view. He still posted it. He's still mad at Drew. But to your point that it won't affect the team, is that Drew Brees, after doing it, was smart enough to even know, I got to get a hold of Michael Jenkins right away.
Yeah.
And at least tell him what I'm saying. He can think I'm a blankety blank, but I'm not letting him hear this without me talking to him first.
And, you and I are two people. It's the reason that we ultimately have ended up doing a show together. I mean, one of the unique parts of our friendship is from day one, you and I always had the ability to disagree without being disagreeable. We oftentimes saw things differently, and we would debate sports, and we would only see one another for the most part at Blades hockey games. You were working, I would show up, I'd be working. Maybe after the game, we'd have a beer together, etc. But, when we got together and we talked, we were both opinionated. And so we would throw our opinions out there, and oftentimes, A, we disagreed, but B, we were never disagreeable. And so that's why, as fate would have it, 5-6 years later, you leave the Blades and I'm doing sports radio and I've left television, and we end up at the same station together. We both always thought, if ever I was going to work with somebody else in this market, this is a guy I could do a show with, because you think you need to, A, not always see things the same way, but B, not be disagreeable so that it's nasty. At times it could be nasty,
right?
But it can't be daily nasty.
No,
they can't be at each other's throats.
And trust me, there are days David and I had left the studio in Act 1 mad at one another, not talking to one another. And by the time 1:30, 2 o'clock came the next day, it was over. Just kind of look, laugh, and in typical guy fashion, there's never an apology. It's just,
no,
we good? Yeah, okay. And you move on.
You walk in, and the second person who walks in the room goes, "Hey, how you doing?" Right. That's there you go. I mean, that's how guys apologize. Or find out the temperature of the room. How you doing? Good. Oh, okay. Well,
I'm still pissed off. Really? Right. Oh, well, let's get through that. That would be how it would go. And it seems, I mean, even at the end of this, he says, he still thinks Drew should change his mind. He hope he rectifies his words with real action. Great. They had a conversation. So I think at the end of the day, like I said, I think it will be a little, David.
Well, I think it has the potential to be a little, and it's what you pointed out. If for whatever reason the season doesn't go well, whether at the beginning or at some point in the season, it's not going well, and they're looking up at someone in the standings in a division that they've owned for 3 years now, and they're expected to own again. I mean, the Saints are going to be the odds-on favorite to win the NFC. I mean, even ahead of the Niners. I mean, the Saints are going to be the betting favorite to win the NFC this year. And if for whatever reason, Mark, at some point during the season, it looks as if things are not going well, then I think this has a chance to rear its head again. But, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, he is the star quarterback. They're going to go as far as basically he takes them. I mean, not that Malcolm in the defense, not going to play a role, but you know what I mean.
No,
at the end of the day, I mean, if they go to Tampa, it'll be, in all likelihood, because Drew Brees is finished in the top 5 of the MVP voting again.
Or Jameis has a hell of a second half.
Well, that was hysterical to see on Twitter late yesterday, in which the people that are now thinking, Josh Innes is a sports talk show host who's worked in Philly and Houston and a few other places. And Josh, late yesterday afternoon, just came out and said, Brees is going to need to retire over this. Now, I think Josh is crazy. All right. But there were some who were like, I don't know if Brees will be able to walk this back. And boy, the Saints signing of Jameis looks even more brilliant now. And I'm like, wait a minute. Have you guys gotten a hold of the edibles and you're taking them all at the same time? What is going on here?
This is Drew Brees, after all.
Yeah,
I think what he said yesterday was incredibly tone deaf. I think if he would have said it all, to me, it would have changed with one thing. Because the question was not whether Drew Brees will kneel for the anthem. The question that was asked was basically, will you understand if people kneel for the anthem? And he doubled down that, no, I will never understand it, and went through his grandfather in World War II and his same story that he told before.
Right.
It was never about, but someone commented here on our Williamson Brothers text and talk line, is that now we're not allowed to say we stand for our flag. No, that's not what, it has nothing to do with standing for the flag. It has to do with protesting police brutality.
Well, but that's not how Brees sees it.
I understand that. But no one asked Drew Brees to kneel for the anthem. That was not what the question was.
True, although there is video of him having done it once. I mean, he joined his teammates in a kneel down at some point before an anthem 3 or 4 years ago, because there is video of it. And that was another thing that people were criticizing him for, going, hey, you said you'd never do this. Well, you've done it at least once. But that once again, Aaron Rodgers took on Drew Brees yesterday by saying, and I quote, it has never been about an anthem or flag. Not then, not now. And we asked a poll question yesterday, essentially asking you if, in fact, you've changed your tune and maybe you see this differently now than you saw it then. And only 7.6% of you, 1 out of every 13 of you, say, yeah, I've changed my tune. 55% of you go, no, I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. And over 1/3 of you were like, well, I supported Cap the first time, so I haven't changed my tune either. Poll question today is whether or not you think Drew Brees' comments in a Yahoo interview yesterday are going to affect the Saints and their chances of winning a Super Bowl. A lot, a little, or not at all. Go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, and vote. You can always chime in on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line at 479-5551, 479-5551. This is the story that got all the oxygen yesterday in the sports world anyway. Well, this and, the Major League Baseball, seemingly circling the drain for 2020 and the NBA season, which will be voted on and ratified today as to officially what it is they're going to do. And yet Miller and Moulton believe the biggest story of the day involved an Arizona State punter.
Long term. A little footnote yesterday in the sports world is, like a texter said earlier in the show, Kurt Floyd equals Michael Turk. Question mark.
Flood, yeah.
Kirk Flood, rather. I'm sorry.
Right.
And Kirk Flood, for those that don't know, was the person responsible for free agency in baseball. Period. And yesterday, the NCAA allowed Tuck, after declaring eligible for the draft, hiring a lawyer, going to the combine, and then not getting drafted, and apparently not getting signed as an unrestricted free agent, asked for eligibility to come back to Arizona State and was granted it.
Right. To review, think about what Mark just said. This is the NCAA, and this is a student athlete. I love throwing that in there that way because I don't mean it, especially when it concerns the big-time sports. I mean it for about 20 sports, I believe it, but not for football. Michael Turk, a punter for Arizona State, declared for the draft. Ball game over. That's it.
You're done.
In college football, you're done. In basketball, you're allowed to say, hey, I'm going to enter the waters and leave the waters and come back. Not in football. He declared for the draft. First step of the process, he's done. Second step, he hired an agent. Seriously? I mean, seriously. Now, there have been instances in the past in which players have hired agents and they've received some form of gifts or compensation, and in order to get their eligibility back, they had to repay the gifts. Okay. But hired an agent after declaring for the draft. Went to the combine. And then was a part of the draft, went undrafted. And as Mark pointed out, was smart enough not to sign with anybody. Now, maybe wasn't offered at a contract, but was smart enough not to sign with anybody. So he calls up the NCAA and he goes, hey, I got 2 years of eligibility left. Think you'd let me go back to Arizona State? And the NCAA, I mean, as Hail Marys go, Mark, I mean, this is, you want to talk about your girlfriend taking you back. I mean, as Hail Marys go, this is as big a Hail Mary as a college athlete has thrown, I think, in our lifetimes. Hey, you think I can go back to Arizona State and punt? Because I got 2 years of eligibility left, to be honest with you. And the NCAA said, yeah, sure, what the hell.
And David, they're, part of this, they're saying part of the reason is the coronavirus. Now, I don't buy that.
I don't get it.
It doesn't make any sense. College football was completed before the coronavirus. I believe that he declared himself eligible for the draft and hired an agent before the coronavirus. I would almost bet large sums of money on that, David, because we didn't shut down the sports world until March 9th, and there's no way he would have declared after that. No way. He's already getting ready at that point. He's already hired the agent. So
this Twitch TV chat room, one gentleman believes that this is the NCAA trying to hoard off lawsuits and just, keep itself, viable. Because, I'm one. I don't know how the NCAA is still in business, to be honest with you. I think but they're violating antitrust laws, in my opinion, and all sorts of things. So, and he believes that this is the NCAA just trying to remain viable going forward. But now the key here, I'm guessing, Mark, the key here is undrafted. Because
yes.
let's just say a standout player from whatever school thinks he's going to get drafted early and ends up getting drafted really late. Now, in theory, Mark, it could be the same thing. You don't have to sign. In theory, you could just say...
No, I'm kind of taking in what you're saying there. And
I'm not interested in signing this sixth round tender here.
David, what sport already does that? Baseball.
Yes.
If you're a high school athlete that's drafted in whatever round, you don't have to sign. Many kids will not sign. They will then go to college, and then they'll be eligible in 3 years.
In fact, it even happens after their third year in which they get drafted again. And if they don't like their draft position, they say, I'm going to come back for my final year of college ball. So they get 3 bites at the apple in theory. But this, to me, this is fascinating because, what's to prevent now the 5th or 6th round pick? The guy from going, well, heck, I thought all my people told me I was going to be a second rounder. That's 4 years, $4.5 million, for goodness sakes. Not this, which is, I'll be lucky. I'll get a $50,000 bonus and going to fight like hell to make the team. I might as well go back to Alabama. I still got a year of eligibility left.
I can sign autographs for that kind of money there.
Well, exactly. Nowadays, hell, I can go get the deal at the car dealership I turned down to enter the draft. Are you kidding me? But I'm just wondering now, don't you think that's the next step? Now, the NFL team holds your draft rights for a year. You would have to then, and so in theory, if the NCAA will allow it, if they'll even take one more step, Mark, and they'll allow a 5th round pick to not sign and to come back to wherever and play, in theory, then that team, let's just say it's the Browns, they've got up until the day of the draft to sign that guy. Now, in theory, that player's gone back, restored their value. It's higher. He would not sign with the Browns, or the Browns would be forced to pay him a lot more than what a 5th or 6th round pick would normally get. But, that's the next step.
Definitely is the next step, David. It's definitely that's a leap, though, in my opinion, because if
a bigger leap than the one they took yesterday.
No.
They skydived out of a plane yesterday.
Well, here's where I would find it fascinating, David, because it's a punter. And let's face it, at the end of the day, we give two you-know-whats about a punter. And then let's look at a quarterback. Let's look at any quarterback that thought he was going to get drafted 1st round and slips to the 3rd.
Well, how about Jake Fromm?
Right.
Jake Fromm slipped to what? 4th?
4th round.
Yeah. And what if Jake Fromm decided, oh, heck with this. I thought I was going 1st or 2nd round. I'm not going to take 4th round money. Going back to Georgia. Now, Georgia's already moved on, and they may not have a scholarship for him.
Oh, I think they would have had one for Jake Fromm.
I think they would have also.
I think they'd have found one. I'd feel badly for the kid from Wake Forest that transferred, but I think they'd find a spot for Jake Fromm. Because he's a really good college quarterback. We don't know if he'll be much in the NFL, but he's a really good college quarterback.
Now, do you think the NCAA will take this next step? Because that's anarchy. Let's be honest. That's anarchy. And the NFL won't like it either. The NFL is the reason that you have the 3 years removed from high school rule. They're the ones insisting you must be 3 years removed from high school in order to be eligible for the draft to even play in our league. The NFL could get their hands on the very special player a year or two sooner if they want. They don't want to. This is their way of propping up college football. I think it's the least they could do. College football is their minor league system. They don't have to pay a dime for it. I think the least they could do is have one rule to try to prop it up as much as possible. But a fascinating story yesterday involving the NCAA and an Arizona State punter. And is this an aberration because of the coronavirus? Miller and Moulton don't see it. I know the NCAA listed that as a reason, but we just don't see it. Or is this the beginning of a very different sports landscape in college athletics? 479-5551, 479-5551, Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing, text and talk line. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us on this first Thursday in June, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
James Harrison's talking to Barstool Sports, came out and said, 10 years ago, I lit this guy up for the Cleveland Browns, knocked him out of the game, and after the game, Mike Tomlin gave me an envelope. I'm not going to tell you what was in the envelope, and I doubt it was Mike Tomlin with a thank you card for the big hit. The Bounty Gate was different. Something happened and you discover it 10 years ago, and I discovered it now.
Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at noon on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana Kia.
Galliana Kia in Fort Myers is open and we're here to help. Over 400 vehicles in stock. New 2020 Kia Forte LXS lease. 0 down. $149 per month. That's right. A new Kia for $149 per month.
David, I don't want to say things have changed, but 2 people were arrested at a protest in Marco Island yesterday.
What?
Interest-free for up to 75 months. And
Were they parked illegally?
Nope. There was a protest and someone showed up in an All Lives Matter shirt. Started arguing with people. Ended up getting in a fight with somebody, and they both got arrested.
Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana Kia.
36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, 0 to its signing, plus tax, tag, title, doc, and dealer fee. 0 security deposit, $13.33 per month per thousand, borrowed for 75 months at 0 APR with 0 down.
We've got our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples, on the phone. We're talking about their huge selection and great pricing on Core-Tec flooring. Tim, tell us what's new at the store.
Right now we have 90 colors of Core-Tec in stock, ready to go, pick up, put down as soon as you want it. Everything from starting at $299 on up with lifetime warranty.
And it's not just the many colors of Core-Tec that you have. You also have other Core-Tec products as well.
We also carry the Core-Tec stone product. Looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Core-Tec, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Core-Tec wood, look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal. Can I use it in Florida?
Nah, it's illegal here. 20 grams or less is a misdemeanor, and more than 20 grams is a felony.
Well, I have epilepsy. Should I try to get a medical marijuana prescription?
Now that's legal, but talk to your doctor first to see if it's a qualifying condition and if medical marijuana is even right for you.
I will, thanks.
I'm a busy person. Catch the show anytime. Check out MillerandMoulton.com and subscribe to the daily podcasts.
Dial star 2020. France Eye Care.
Attention community heroes, France Eye Care would like to express our appreciation for all that you do as you serve on the front lines, and that's why we're offering $1,500 off bilateral LASIK for first responders. All EMTs, firefighters, police officers, and critical care workers in hospitals and minor emergency clinics are eligible to receive this benefit through May 31st. Dr. Jonathan France, one of the original pioneers in the field of LASIK surgery, and his expert team of surgeons at France Eye Care want to help you experience better vision and a better life without the hassle of contacts and glasses. In addition to this amazing $1,500 off LASIK special, France Eye Care now offering free LASIK screenings through virtual consultations. Dial star 2020 from your mobile phone to schedule a virtual consultation at a convenient time for you. Thank you, first responders.
France Eye Care.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
Dan Martineau here, owner of D.R. Martineau Roofing of Southwest Florida. We're still finding a lot of roofs with hurricane and windstorm damage. Call us today for a free inspection. Google DRM Roofing or call 239-332-1441.
License number CCC 1326954.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
Here we go. Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton at 27 minutes before 8 o'clock here on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. We're streaming at foxsportsfm.com and broadcasting live on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. A reminder, Fox Sports Radio, proud to be live and local. We work and live in Southwest Florida. We are Gulf Shore strong, and as businesses in our community are reopening, trying to get back to normalcy, we'd like to give you a helping hand. Just give us a call, 479-5577. That's 479-5577. Tell us the name and location of your business and let us know that you're back. And you might just hear yourself on the radio. We're rooting for you. Southwest Florida, Fox Sports Radio. We are Gulf Shore strong.
479-5551. Almost gave the old one, David. I don't know why it was the first time. Like I had to look over. I had to look. I'm like, whoa. 479-5551. Our poll question today is about Drew Brees, his comments yesterday. We're not really getting into the comments as much and how it will affect the locker room. How much will Drew Brees' comments yesterday affect the Saints' chances of winning a Super Bowl? A lot, a little, not at all. Not at all the overwhelming leader, but 20% say a lot. And David, when we get a text on the Williamson Brothers Marine Talk and text line, I can see every text they've ever sent. I always know their history. So I kind of have a good idea who they are, where they stand. And every once in a while, we get a text with nothing there, which means they've never texted the show before. And this person this morning at 7:27 said, this will affect the Saints' regular season badly. And I find it interesting because I don't agree with him, but for someone for the first time ever to text the show going, hey, man, I don't know what to tell you. I think this is going to be a big deal.
And if you missed it yesterday, Drew Brees in an interview with Yahoo Business was asked about Kaepernick and kneeling for the anthem, and he views it as a flag and military issue. He does not view it as kneeling to protest police brutality. And he talked about his grandfather and serving in World War II. And this is what I think about when I stand on the field and my hand over my heart for the national anthem. And I'm not going to be kneeling. And I don't understand it, to be honest. That was Drew's answer. Well, needless to say, that was not well received by certain teammates. Michael Thomas, who catches about 140 passes a year the last few years from Drew Brees, he roasted Brees quickly. And then there's Malcolm Jenkins. And Malcolm Jenkins, who's been a leader in off the field meeting with the NFL when he was with the Eagles and trying to get the NFL to understand and social justice and things of the like. Malcolm has been very outspoken, and he has met with many an authority figure, not just in the league, but in the Philadelphia community, especially in the last few years. And so that was the first person I thought of, Mark. When I heard Brees' comments, I went, oh, Malcolm Jenkins is going to have a party at the expense of Drew Brees here. And he lit Drew Brees up twice yesterday on social media before basically taking down his comments and saying, yeah, I got to get off this because otherwise I may say something I'm not going to be able to walk back. So that's what took place yesterday. And then there is the fascinating down the road issue of the fact that NBC has already signed Drew Brees as their guy going forward. I mean, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth are the guys right now, but Mike Tirico and Drew Brees are the guys waiting in the wings. And the thought is with Al that when NBC does, it's not this Super Bowl because the Tampa Super Bowl is on CBS, but it's the LA Super Bowls on NBC. And the thought is when they're done with that season, that'll be Al's swan song, and that Collinsworth may stick around for a little while, but that eventually it's going to be Mike Tirico and Drew Brees. Well, now here's Drew Brees getting teed off on by players in the league. I mean, teed off on. He became a human piñata yesterday on Twitter.
Yeah, he has. And the question becomes of how is this going to affect the Saints locker room? And even Jenkins, when he put his comments, very passionate comments on Facebook, very upset, it's pointed out that Brees called him before then. So these are two guys that are 180 degrees apart right now. How will it affect the Saints?
And I say not at all. You think a little.
A little.
And I will say this, if there is a bad start to the season, or because, let's face it, Breeze and Brady are both older. At some point, they're both going to hit the wall. If all of a sudden Drew Brees is not performing at the level that he has performed at in the past, does this rear its ugly head again? If all of a sudden the reason the Saints are scuffling a bit is number 9, that hasn't been the case much in the last 14 years.
And for what it's worth, their first 3 games are fascinating. Now, we would throw Tom Brady and Belichick under the bus when they were 2-2 in September.
Right.
So take it with a grain of salt. But they open with the Bucs. They play Brady at home. If just for your scenario, if it goes badly, they lose that game. Then they go to the Raiders.
Raiders' first ever home game.
Right. Very emotional game in Las Vegas. That's...
Is it a Monday night or Sunday night? I know it's a prime
It's an
time
8:15.
game.
It's a Monday night.
It's a Monday night. Okay.
Then they come back for a short week on Sunday night to host Aaron Rodgers. That's just their first 3. After that, they get Lions, Chargers, Panthers. They're going to win, and Bears. Right now you can say they're going to be favored in the next 4 games no matter what happens the first 3. But it is interesting, like you said, if you're a beat writer and things start out badly. And this is where it festers. Because then what are the questions going to be if they're 1-2? And Drew plays a little off.
Hey, how come you guys are 1-2?
Is this anything have carried over from what Drew said back in June? That's what's going to happen.
Exactly. Is there a chemistry issue? Is there a locker room problem? Right? Absolutely. Now, they get off to a 3-0 start. This is laughable. But if by chance there's some unexpected adversity where, not that they're looking up at someone in a conference, but if they are at a certain point in the season and they're looking up at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that's when all of a sudden, because this is a make it happen year. There's some belief that this is Breeze's last season also.
A lot of belief. Even though he has a two-year deal.
Right. He signed a 2-year deal, but Sean Payton gave an interview in which he made it seem as if 2020 is going to be it for Drew. And so this is make it happen time. Remember, the Saints were very aggressive in the draft. They sacrificed a bunch of picks to basically grab 3 guys because they were plug and play guys. And they're at the point now where that's it. That's what they need. They're trying to one more shot at the brass ring. That's what Mickey Loomis and company are all in on. So it is championship or bust for the Saints. And does Breeze back down? Because, you can conclude this about somebody. Forget this person and this issue. If you were to just look at it objectively, Mark, if I asked you a question 4 years ago and you state your opinion, I ask you the same question 4 years later and you state the exact same opinion. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I think I can come to the conclusion that that's how you really feel about this. So then, if a day or 2 after I've asked you that question again 4 years later, you start changing your tune, I'd have to look at you and go, you don't really believe what you're saying, right? I asked you this question on Wednesday. You gave me the exact same answer when I asked it of you 4 years earlier. So now all of a sudden on Thursday, who got to you? Who's talking to you?
But I see, and that's where I think he could, because I think if you read a lot of the comments from the players who were angry, some just said the basic stupid crap that people say. But a lot of them were a lot more heartfelt and said, you still don't get it. You don't understand. I thought what Richard Sherman said, that, he says he's beyond loss. Guarantee you there were black men fighting alongside your grandfather. But this doesn't seem to be about that. That uncomfortable conversation you are trying to avoid by injecting military into a conversation about brutality and equality is part of the problem. I think Richard Sherman and Drew Brees need to sit down and talk. I think someone needs to explain to Drew Brees that I get your passion for the flag. It's not what this is about.
Yeah, but what's to prevent Drew Brees from looking at Richard Sherman or anybody else and going, I just don't see it the way you see it.
Okay, and then they can agree to disagree. But, all I'm saying is there were a lot of people who thought before they tweeted yesterday, NFL players. There were some that just shot out stuff. I thought what Richard Sherman said, he thought about it. This guy's a lot smarter than both of us.
Yeah, honor student.
Just flat out, that guy's a lot smarter than both of us. And I think you're a pretty smart guy, David. I don't know how smart I think I am, but I think you're a pretty smart guy. So I do think conversations and continuing to educate people is important about anything. And that's how people change their minds, by being educated. That's all.
I don't know. You answer something one way, and 4 years later you get asked the same question, you answer it again. I mean, Mark, if it was imagine if Brees was a politician. You answer, on a certain issue, this is your belief. 4 years later, you're up for election again. They ask you the same question in a debate. You answer it a certain way. All of a sudden, after the debate, you get a bunch of grief. And within 48 hours, all of a sudden, you start changing your tune. I mean, tell me that doesn't look like you're waffling, placating, trying to have it both ways. I mean, it just, I find this interesting because I don't know where he goes from here. I really don't.
If you were, David, our other famous line in the show, my $20. Not yours anymore because you have so many bills, I don't want to use your $20.
Right. I really need the money.
Yeah,
right now.
And not to mention, you haven't even begun to fight with insurance. This is going to be a big pain in the ass. So let's use my $20. Let's use my $20 from this point forward on these bets, okay? Because I think you need it. My $20. He stands firm or he tries to thread the needle.
He tries to thread the needle. I just don't know if it can come off genuine. And for someone who we have never questioned his genuineness, he's always been the good guy. Always. Miller and Moulton. Today was the day when, on the other side, you can chime into the show via the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line 479-5551. 479-5551. Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for spending your morning with us. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Drive home with the Doug Gottlieb Show.
Blake Snell is going to make a whole hell of a lot of money the next couple of years. It's a negotiation. But this idea of complaining about losing money for services that aren't rendered when you have plenty of people that are losing jobs simply because, well, scientists said you got to shut it down for the safety of yourself and the safety of others.
Doug Gottlieb, afternoons at 3 on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Cathedral Roofing Innovations. Now, Hurricane Irma was a long time ago, but believe it or not, problems with tile roofs, they continue to occur as a result. Now, many homeowners are just now feeling the effects of the hidden damage that occurred to their tile roof. Now, whether it's new leaks, cracked, unsecured tiles, these roofs are living on borrowed time. Now, tile roofs, by nature of their design, are susceptible to lift and powerful storms like hurricanes. When this occurs, your tile underlayment can be compromised, but you would not realize it until possibly years later. Now, with Cathedral Roofing Innovations, you get a great roofing company to inspect your roof for any damage, and just because you don't have leaks doesn't mean you don't have issues. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com. They are the tile experts in Naples, and they will start the inspection process right away. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com. Cathedralroofingnaples.com.
License number CCC 1331928.
It's Fred Kobe with your Kobe Cooling Tip of the Day. I'd like to tell you that I'm the best AC mechanic in my company, but I'd be lying to you. I think my NATE certified mechanic team hides my tools from me so I don't hurt myself. You see, I'm the old guy, and I've been doing this work since I was a kid with my dad. Our younger staff are really the best mechanics in this business. and they've been through years of training and years of testing, with continuing education to keep up to date on the latest and greatest things in the air conditioning world. All companies brag about their experience, and we certainly have that, but we're most proud of our team being on the cutting edge and the leaders in technology and application of the modern air conditioning equipment. That's why we've been voted best air conditioning company in Southwest Florida year after year in the news press polls. It's not me, it's the best team of NATE certified mechanics ever assembled. Call 239-482-1542 and experience the best. License CACO 57313.
Attention, Southwest Florida. Are you ready for this? Only Naples Nissan will give you $8,000 over Kelley Blue Book value for your trade-in. Hundreds of new SUV models to choose from, all backed by our exclusive unlimited mile lifetime warranty. Pick out your favorite at naplesnissan.com. Then come see us on Pine Ridge Road to find out the KBB.com current market value for your trade-in, and we'll give you $8,000 more so you can...
Well, I didn't even realize, David, because they didn't report it. I hadn't talked to Jake in a couple of days. They were on full curfew for 2 days. Their protest had 3 people shot on Sunday night.
If KBB says 10,
downtown there?
In Greenville, North Carolina, yeah.
You must act fast, though. Visit naplesnissan.com for full details. Offer on select models with approved credit and cannot be combined.
This is our commitment to you. We're going to bring the funny.
This was all an elaborate joke.
We're going to bring the joy. We want to entertain you. We're going to be there for you always. We'll be your escape. That's our commitment to you.
A committed, focused culture.
We are Fox Sports Radio.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters.
David,
and
is
radio
your
stations.
mom or anybody complaining about the
Marijuana is legal.
stream?
Can I use
No.
it in Florida?
Okay.
Nah, it's illegal here, man. But I have PTSD. Should I at least try to get medical marijuana? That's legal. But if I were you, I'd talk to my doctor about qualifying conditions and to find out if medical marijuana is even right for you. Thanks. I'll talk to my doctor.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor, the pool doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. Do the math. Taking care of your pool is probably not a good use of your time and money. Free $50 Bonefish gift certificates when you sign up for one of our award-winning weekly service plans. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the pool doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
Here we go. Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
8 minutes before 8 o'clock. Poll question at that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. In light of Drew Brees' comments yesterday, do you think that they will have a lasting effect and hurt the Saints' chances this year to win the Super Bowl? A lot, a little, or not at all? That's our poll question. You can always chime in also at 479-5551 on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line. Without further ado, time now for
Miller and Moulton's Today Was the Day When, giving you the history of today's date so you're a beacon of useless knowledge around the office.
Useless, but a lot of fun to talk about.
This is Today Was the Day When, Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
We start today in 1896, when people on the streets of Detroit saw something a little unusual, because Henry Ford was taking his first Ford through the streets of what would become Motown. That would have to be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, horse and buggies walking around, and all of a sudden somebody's zipping around in this thing without a horse.
Right. Yeah, looking around going, what the is that?
1927 was the first Ryder Cup. The U.S. beats Great Britain 9.5 to 2.5. Walter Hagen, the first American captain.
Just Great Britain? Wasn't Great Britain in Ireland?
Just Great Britain.
Remember, it was GBI for the longest time, so that was just GB.
Right.
All right.
1934, Dr. Frederick Banting was knighted. He's the co-discoverer of insulin. And the only reason I brought this up, David, this guy discovered insulin. I think that's worthy of knighting. Now, Nick Faldo, Elton John, Paul McCartney, They sing.
Right, not so much.
I mean, have we lowered the bar for being knighted? And by we, I mean the UK, since we can't knight anyone.
I think we have, yes.
1940, we must have done a lot with lights in 1940 because it was the first night game at Sportsman's Park. The Dodgers would beat the Cardinals 10-1, and it was the first night game at Forbes Field where the Pirates would beat the Braves 14-2.
So in St. Louis and Pittsburgh in 1940, we played our first night games.
Yes.
80 years ago.
And this one I didn't know. I saved this because you're the historian. Today in 1944, Eisenhower canceled the planned D-Day invasion on June 5th after receiving unfavorable weather reports.
Well, and it was sketchy for the 6th.
Right. I never, for whatever reason, never had heard that. 53, the Pittsburgh trades Ralph Kiner and Joe Garagiola to the Chicago Cubs. 1964, Sandy Koufax throws his third no-ho, beating the Phillies 3-0. 1968, Don Drysdale pitches his 6th straight shutout en route to 58 scoreless innings. They pitched on the same team.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Sometimes you just have to remind yourself of that, David.
That's why those early to mid 60s, the Dodgers were really good.
And the never repeated 10-cent beer night was today in 1974 in Cleveland, where fans stormed on the field and forced the Indians to forfeit the game to the Rangers with the score tied 5-5 in the ninth. Today in 1984, David, this guy named Bruce Springsteen released this little album called Born in the USA.
It did really well. He played 2 straight weeks worth of shows at Giants Stadium that summer. Literally, almost every night for 2 straight weeks. 70,000 people times like 12.
Right.
He basically had 1 million people over 2 weeks come see him play Giants Stadium in August of 84. And I was one of them.
I would see him in September of 84 at the Pontiac Silverdome. Actually, I'm sorry, it might have been 85 by then by the time he got, because that tour lasted for what seemed like ever. 1987, Edwin Moses' 122 race winning streak, which would be nearly 10 years, ends when he was beaten by Danny Harris in Spain. For nearly 10 years, he didn't lose a race.
He was a hurdler.
Yes.
Yep.
Unbelievable. 2008, the Red Wings defeat the Pens 3-2 for the Detroit Red Wings' 11th Stanley Cup championship. Oh, those were the good old days, David.
I was going to say, and now you can have a poll question. When do you think the Wings' next Stanley Cup is going to be?
David, when's the next time they'll be in the playoffs?
Oh, come on. Give them a couple years.
At least. If you were born today, you might be horny because you were born on the same day as Dr. Ruth, born today in 1928. Michelle Phillips from the Mamas and Papas, you know, the good-looking one, born today in 1944. The X-Man, Xavier McDaniel. Want to take a guess?
61.
He is 57 years old. Actor Noah Wiley was born today in 1971, and Angelina Jolie is 45 years old. And the answer is still yes. It's never changed. That is, today was the day when, on this June the 4th. David, there was something said by a coach yesterday. We have not brought it up yet, but it makes his fan base very happy. We'll discuss next. Miller and Moulton, Fox Sports Radio. Did you see Mullen's comments?
Florida's news leader.
Undefeated.
I expect us to go undefeated this season.
I'm Therese O'Shea with Link News. The former business owner arrested on fraud charges is out of jail on bond. Louis Bruno was released just after midnight. He and 9 employees from Bruno Total Home are accused of using high-pressure sales tactics to scam customers.
Beat Georgia.
More of his co-defendants were booked early this morning. Right now, 2 people are in the Collier County Jail after mostly peaceful protests turned violent on Marco Island. Protests in Fort Myers stayed peaceful, and in Hendry County, no one showed up to a scheduled protest at the Walmart in Lewiston. Starting today, the United Way needs volunteers to help with 7 tractor trailers full of food. For dates, times, and locations of where you can sign up to help, head to the Wink News app. Trust Wink News, Southwest Florida's news leader.
Great news, Southwest Florida. Below invoice employee pricing at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. That's right. Below invoice pricing on Chrysler Pacificas, Jeep Wranglers, Jeep Gladiators, and heavy-duty Ram trucks. Over 1,500 new and certified pre-owned vehicles in stock. Loaded, luxurious Grand Cherokee Limited lease. 0 down, $269 per month. That's right. Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. 0 down, $269 per month. Plus at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, you can drive payment-free for 4 months, interest-free for 6 years, and worry-free up to 100,000 miles. Our parts service and body shop are open to serve you. Below invoice employee pricing at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com. 42 monthly lease on Jeep, 10,000 miles per year, 0 to 8 plus tax, title, doc, and dealer fees.
Oh, boy.
13 per month for 1,000 for 72 months, 0 APR with 0 down with lender approval.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. 103.3 Fox Sports Radio. We are Fox Sports. Here's what's trending now. Brought to you by the Center for Men's Health. C4MH.com.
My mom said, by the way, there was one instance of a glitch on Twitch.
Oh, on Twitch? Okay, this guy had a problem on streaming.
Gotcha.
Well, Sean, what the hell? I mean, I can't do any more Drew Brees today, Sean. What do you want out of me? I live in Florida. The Gators coach said he's going undefeated. You're a Gator fan, for crying out loud. Slow news day. Jesus, Sean. You're killing me, man. You're killing me.
Sean, the answer is yes. It is a slow news day.
I know, Sean. I'm just busting your chops, man.
What games took place last night? I'd love to talk about them.
Taiwanese baseball.
Bundesliga.
Did they play? I don't know.
There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep, that's it. Miller.
Really upset that my daughter will not read one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish on Twitch because I needed content. That's what we've come to.
And Moulton.
Well, we need to explain to her the pilot program, and we need 25 hours of programming a week. So you need to deliver your 12 minutes a day.
No, if the coach of Vandy said that, Sean, he should be committed.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Oh, I like it. It's up to you now. It's up to you. I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Couple minutes past 8 o'clock. Miller and Moulton, thanks for being with us. First Thursday of the month. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio streaming, foxsportsfm.com, and Miller and Moulton broadcasting once again on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. Sign up, watch the show. It's free. And you can interact via Twitch TV during the show and during the commercial breaks, of which Mark Miller and Sean were going at it.
Oh, that was just more fun than anything else. But I want to let everybody know, I thank everybody for their support this year. I've retired as a kindergarten teacher effective yesterday afternoon.
You retired? That's it?
Yeah. If we do homeschooling again next year, Mom's got to come do it or something. I don't know.
Wow. So that's it. This is all you have in you.
I'm gone.
Like 75 days. That's about what you had in you.
I'm done. I mean, I'm really happy that we are on summer break. In fact, yesterday my wife started something, school related about our daughter, and I looked at her flat out. She said, "Ask your teacher." I said, "The teacher's done. It's summer break. You can go on doing what you're doing now."
Well, I will say you look like you're done. I mean, your hair's not quite as disheveled today as it has been the first 3 days of the week. You still haven't shaved. I mean, you look as if you're done. You're headed to the lake or whatever for summer.
Yeah, I'm going Grizzly Adams. We're going to see how long I can hold out. But yesterday, David, this new grocery store opened down the road for me, this Sprouts. And I thought of you a lot when I was in there.
Boy, you sound so old right now.
It's,
Just so
well,
you know,
just
you're
it's
talking about a new grocery store.
Well, no, it's really healthy. A lot of vegetables, a lot of greens. I thought of you all day. A lot of organic. I thought this would be a place where you could start hanging out a little more with the new diet. I think we can go every day and find something you can eat in there.
Do you want me to really react to that? Because if so, my career in Southwest Florida may be done.
No, I just want to help you out. I want you
to help.
David, I would cook for you every day for 2 weeks to find food that you like. You know that for a fact. I would sit there and try to, hey, taste this. Do you like this? I would try to make every single healthy food under the planet to try to find something that agreed with you.
I understand, Mark, but deep down, I'm not interested in that. Okay, I want to go back to my old ways.
You're not going to be able to.
I understand that. I'm reconciling that. All right. I am reconciling that as I am eating my grapes and my carrots and my green beans. All right. And my salmon. All right. And I like salmon. All right. I don't know what to tell you.
Good.
And my chicken and making sure that, low sodium, low sugar. Yeah. Yes. And which is also translated low taste. Yes, I've got all of it going right in a row. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, I'm going to.
I'm sorry. I literally, all I want to do is try to make you things that would make you taste good. You know that. I sincerely believe that.
My mom is big on, hey, I'd really like to get you a little, and she's listening right now, so this is going to drive her crazy. She's going to reach through the internet and stab me in the neck. But, my mom's on, hey, why don't I get you one of those meal services?
Yeah.
They prepare everything and they ship it to you, and then you just put it in the fridge and you just bring it out and boil it or heat it up when you're ready. I'll do that for you. I'll get you that as a gift.
Trying to figure out why your mom sounds like Eddie Murphy trying to talk like a white guy.
I know.
But, you said you want to go back to your olden ways. You know who else wants to go back to their olden ways? The Florida Gators, David. And
why not?
And Dan Mullen yesterday said something very Steve Spurrier-esque to me. There was some bravado in Dan Mullen's comments yesterday. I expect us to go undefeated this year.
Well, good for you. All right, Coach. Way to go. Now, of course, every coach at this time of the year, well, at least, every top 20 coach is thinking, I expect us to go undefeated. Dan, beat Georgia. Beat Georgia. Can you just beat Georgia? You beat Georgia, you're going to Atlanta. You go to Atlanta, there's a very good chance you're still in the playoff picture.
You win at Atlanta, you're in the playoff.
Yeah, Dan, just beat Georgia. That's all. That's all. You're doing a good job. You've had back-to-back top 10 finishes with the Gators. You're doing a good job. But, Mark, honestly, let's look at this objectively. Do you know how many times the Gators have had a one-loss regular season in the last 10 years? A one-loss regular season. Once.
Well, and it was funny because Mullen did almost backtrack right after saying, he goes, now I've got 2 national championship rings here at Florida, and we weren't undefeated either of those years.
Correct.
Correct. But his point is, and he did say, I'm not trying to be cocky. He was, I go into every season this way. I expect to be undefeated. But typically coaches don't go on radio interviews in early June and make those type of announcements.
Well, listen, if you're a Gator fan, one, you want your coach to talk that way.
You're damn right you do.
That's how the HBC used to talk. And secondly, you hope that this team has a chance to back it up, whether they post the donut or not. But if you're a Florida fan right now, here's a legit question. I say to a Gator fan, 10-2, would you take it? Yes or no? I think most would say no. Because 10-2 likely means losing to Georgia and not going to Atlanta. I don't think they'd take it. Outside of hosting LSU and playing Georgia on a neutral field, Mark, do they have a game in which they're going to be an underdog in? And I don't know that they're going to be an underdog against either of the 2 teams I just mentioned also. mean, there's a chance the Gators are favored in 12 games.
David, not only will they not be an underdog in any other game, I think they'll be at least a double-digit favorite in every other game. I mean, their schedule is as pitiful as it gets. South Alabama, Eastern Washington, and New Mexico State are on the schedule this year for all you season ticket holders. Along with LSU. So, I mean, the conference games, they get LSU, and you said LSU and Georgia. They'll be a 10-point favorite against Kentucky. They'll be at Tennessee, might only be 7.
Yeah, 6.5. Yep.
South Carolina at home, they'll be a double-digit favorite.
What's their other West game?
At Ole Miss.
LSU. Okay, well, it'll be interesting.
But, I mean, they host Missouri, and I don't know if Missouri even has a pulse this year. They're at Vandy. They're at Florida State. Maybe Florida State will start getting their act together, but I don't see Florida State being within much better than 8-10 of the Gators.
Speaking of Florida State, did you see that story that emerged yesterday? Oh, boy. First misstep of the Mike Norvell era. Somehow, some way, Norvell's being interviewed yesterday. And he's being interviewed about the last 10 days and was asked by the interviewer, so what have you done? And he proceeds to say that they have gone out of their way and they have talked to every single one of their players directly and exchanged views and what have you. Well, the players go, I don't know what universe he's living in, but that's not the universe here in Tallahassee. No, we got a text or we got an email, but no, I haven't talked to Coach. I don't know what Coach is talking about. And Mark, I believe I read this story correctly before I went to bed. I think some of the players, including the captains, have said, yeah, we're not working out for the foreseeable future until Coach explains himself.
Yeah, that's exactly what you read.
So, and Mike Norvell, who's done it, put a recruiting class together in short order, has brought in a bunch of transfers, by all accounts, has done as good a job, forget the coronavirus, but by all accounts has done as good a job in his first 120 plus days as you could do as head coach of Florida State during an off season and slapping everything together. But Mike Norvell has seemingly overstated his and his coaching staff and what they have done with the players and talking about the current issues of the day. And the players said, basically, they called them on it.
Marvin Wilson is the one who led the call, if you will. He's a projected first-round pick. He said, man, this, and he used the emoji that begins with S and ends with T. Man, this did not happen. We got a generated text that was sent to everybody. There was no one-on-one talk between us and Coach. This is a lie, and me and my teammates as a whole are outraged, and we will not be working out until further notice. You read it right.
There you go. You know, we're talking about whether or not Drew Brees is going to change his tune, back down, backpedal, however it is you want to describe it here in the coming days. Mike Norvell is going to have to say, yeah, I screwed up. I overstated it. You know, what I meant to say was, which, I mean, is going to be a lie. I mean, he just screwed up. He lied. He told a little white lie. And usually players don't publicly call their coaches out. I mean, let's be honest. They don't.
Right. But times are different right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're different.
Yes, and a certain generation and a certain group of people right now are feeling their oats, and they're like, the stops at the front door.
Because what that looks like on the outside, David, is it looks like what's happened for the last 20 or 40 years. It's just Mike Norvell gave lip service is what he did.
Totally.
And not only did Marvin Wilson's comments were about the boycott, the players on the team were just retweeting with the 100 comments and exclamation points and in total agreement. I mean, this is a mutiny right now that Mike Norvell has to control quickly. And he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to do it on bended knee apologizing.
Yeah, I screwed up.
And he's going to have to do a lot of listening.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to get uncomfortable for him.
Yeah. Yep.
But if he wants to earn the trust of these players ever, he's going to need to get into a room and listen really quickly.
And let's face it, Florida State needs to have a decent year. I mean, forget a good year. Could they have a decent season again? I mean, could Florida State put an 8-win season on the board? Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, I'm going to go crazy. Can they put an 8-win season on the board? I mean, the last 3 years, Mark, they haven't won more than 6 games in a regular season. 3 years now. It's Florida State, for goodness sakes. I mean, Jimbo had a year midway through last decade in which he won nearly as many games as they've won the last 3 years combined. I mean, and Mike's got a little bit of talent, and the ACC is down, and they have a chance to get their head above water again and let people know, hey, we're going to be back.
Well,
yeah, Clemson's way ahead of us, and Mac's doing a good job at North Carolina, but you know what? We're getting our act together, and we can get it together quickly, by the way. Look at our track record.
They do not play North Carolina, for the record. They will be, I believe they'll be for sure underdogs in 3 games. Clemson and Florida, obviously, and I think they'll be a dog when they play Boise.
In Boise?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Boise could go undefeated. Boise's going to be the non-Power 5 that people say has the best chance to throw a donut on the board this year.
In fact, Florida State's first game, if you want to get to 8, get the first one against West Virginia.
Agreed.
Because then it seems very obtainable. Then you don't have to do anything out of the ordinary, and you don't have to, be perfect in the games that you are supposed to win. It gives you a little room for something else. But it would be nice to see them get off to a good start and beat West Virginia before a cupcake, and then they go out west and play Boise. Is that at Boise, or is that a neutral?
I thought it was a home and home because Boise came to Tallahassee last year.
That's right. That's at. Okay. Hey, in these days, David, I just have to make sure.
No,
I can't ever seem to tell anymore.
Right now, though, Gator fan, 10-2, do you take it, yes or no? I think they say no. I think they look at this team and they look at the schedule and they go, we can do better. I'm going to roll the dice. I am going to roll the dice. And by the way, if you believe that way, don't you have to bet the over with the Gators? Because I think the over is 9.5.
I think I would bet that even if I think they're going to lose to LSU in Georgia. I don't think there's anything else on the schedule that can beat them. I mean, when Florida State's where they are, this non-conference schedule is an absolute joke.
I think the only thing that can beat the Gators in the other 10 games is if Dan gets a little funky with the quarterback position. There's a part of me that thinks he's just not going to give the ball to Kyle Trask and let him go play. That he's going to try to work Emory Jones more and more into the situation here. And I don't think that's going to go over well with Kyle Trask, and I don't know that it's going to go over well with the team. Because the Gators didn't lose games last year because of their quarterback. I think that Emory's just stuck in a bad spot. But Dan likes a running quarterback, and Dan likes to have that versatility and that added dimension. And I think he would prefer to win with an Emory Jones than a Kyle Trask, but Trask is better. And I really think he just needs to give the ball to him and say, you're the guy.
Is he better? Is he better?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Kyle Trask, one of the 3 best returning quarterbacks in the SEC. Now, you could say this is a down year for quarterbacks in the SEC, but yeah, Kyle Trask is very accurate. Kyle Trask is fine.
Because I wonder if Mullen's thinking, I can go 10-2 with Kyle Trask, but I can't beat Georgia or LSU with this kind of a quarterback.
And I think it's more on up front. I mean, the reason Florida has lost to Georgia the last couple of years is they've gotten beat up front. Simple as that. Miller and Moulton.
Our poll question today, stemming from Drew Brees' comments yesterday, and how much will they affect the Saints' chances of winning a Super Bowl? A lot, a little, not at all. 55% of you say not at all, but that means that almost half of you think that this will have some impact on the Saints season. And if it's just a little, is that little enough to maybe have the Bucs win the division, or maybe have the Saints lose just one more game than the Niners and have to go on the road for an NFC championship? Because we know the difference of all teams in football, the Saints' home field advantage may be the best.
Well, they've won one road playoff game in their history. So, yeah, being at home, even though they've lost their last two home playoff games, both in overtime. But, yeah, the Saints, of all the teams, you think they need to be the one seed as much as anybody. So that's our poll question, millerandmoulton.com. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton. You can also chime in on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line, 479-5551, 479-5551. The good, the better, and the best is about 30 minutes away here on Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Calling your quarantine. And we move now to the couch where this match is set to take place. The first spoonful of ice cream shoveled in, maybe a little too fast. We could have a brain freeze situation here. Cannot fill the void of baseball. And after making quick work of the dishes, she turns to, oh, wait. We'll get back to the ballpark. The cat was settled by her feet eventually. Look out below, she's going down. A message of hope from Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
Dan Martineau here, owner of D.R. Martineau Roofing of Southwest Florida. We're still finding a lot of roofs with hurricane and windstorm damage. Call us today for a free inspection. Google DRM Roofing or call 239-332-1441.
License number CCC 1326954.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
Let's face it, these are stressful times. New routines, the constant bombardment of bad news, and trying to keep you and your family safe all the time. It's Frank for Center for Men's Health. During these stressful times, your mood is so critical, and nothing's more important to a guy's mood than testosterone. The single greatest issue for guys with low T is mood, and the single greatest change for men that get low T care is a greatly improved mood. Many are grumpy when they start, and most can't believe how much their mood improves once they get treated. And everything improves once your mood improves. Feel the difference C4MH.com can make in your life. I've been a patient of C4MH.com for a couple of years, and recently I've lost 20 pounds because now I have the energy to work out from home. And that'll put you in a good mood too. C4MH.com's express treatment plan is convenient, affordable, and above all, safe. And with locations all up and down West Florida, there's one near you right now. Find out more. Go to C4MH.com.
Even in my 80s, every dive is exciting and enjoyable. When I developed cataracts years ago, I couldn't see well underwater. You can have the best gear and know the best dive spots. If your eyes aren't the best, it's just not the same. And Dr. Scheibo knows that.
Knowing how much Jimbo cares about diving, it was a privilege to fix his vision.
It's great to know that we got eye doctors in our area that care just as much about me as I care about being in the water.
Hi, this is Dr. Scheibel from Community Eye Center. My partner, Dr. Spatafor, and I want to remind everybody, don't be a spreader. The coronavirus is so tiny, 100 million particles fit on the head of a pin. As we run around in our trucks and cars and play golf and go fishing and go to work and do the things we like to do, we are spreading the virus. The virus can only move with us. Over 65,
don't be a spreader.
COPD.
Don't be a spreader.
By this virus. Wash your hands. Be careful. Don't be a spreader.
Like Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio on Facebook. Facebook.com/Fox Sports SWFL.
We've got our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples, on the phone. We're talking about their huge selection and great pricing on Cortec flooring. Tim, tell us what's new in the store.
Someone just sent a text going, take it, look at this. Not just a meal prep service. You want me to forward that to you?
Starting at $299
do that.
on up with lifetime warranty.
And it's not just the many
I
colors
hate
of
all of you.
Cortec that you have. You also have other
I know you're
Cortec
trying to help.
products as well.
We are.
The
I know.
Cortec stone product looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Cortec, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Cortec wood, look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters,
Mom
you
Moulton,
really
if you're
owe
on
it to
Twitch
yourself
right
to
now,
visit
I just
the
want to
store.
let you know that
6281
listeners have
Naples
also
Boulevard, right
texted
next to
in some
Costco.
meal
Or
services.
Go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
This message is sponsored by the Florida
Huh.
A&M University
I
Medical
love that she
Marijuana
watches on
Education and
Twitch.
Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal. Can I use it in Florida?
Nah, it's illegal here. 20 grams or less is a misdemeanor, and more than 20 grams is a felony.
Well, I have epilepsy. Should I try to get a medical marijuana prescription?
Yes.
Now that's legal, but talk to your doctor
So,
first to see if it's a qualifying condition.
On
and
Twitter today, David, I noticed that
I will.
Mick McCabe covered. Forget it.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming this and, well, every other show on the station, foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live once again, the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. I am very appreciative of the love and support and concern that many of you have had over the last nearly 3 weeks now. And it was 2 weeks today. I had my kidney removed. And, that obviously some obstacles along the way. And sleep is one and eating is another. And so we have ventured at various times talking about food and what it is that I need to do or some of the options that I have. And obviously food's a big part of my life. I've always been a bigger guy, number one. Two, I've always loved eating. If it's not nailed down, I've loved tackling it.
Yeah, your gut, while you like beer, is not a beer gut.
No.
It's a food gut.
It's a carbohydrate gut. Always has been.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Absolutely. And so, now I'm having to watch my sugar, having to watch my salt, and well, that limits the diet just a little bit. I mean, just a little bit. And haven't quite figured things out yet. And so, my mom is trying to be very helpful. She's, got a son in his mid-50s. I mean, he's kind of set in his ways, even though this is uncharted territory for me. And so she's, kind of dipped her toes in the food water going, hey, there are meal services out there. I'd like to get you one of them, just right to your door. I mean, come on, let me love up on you a little bit. And depending on when she talks to me is how receptive I am or not, because it just doesn't sound, quite frankly, very appetizing. I'm sorry, just doesn't. I mean, I know, you got your pamphlets and your brochures and, those fruits and vegetables, and they're all so colorful, and, look at what we could do for you. Yeah, I know. Do you know what I've been eating for the last 35 years? Whatever the hell I want. Okay? That's what I've been eating for 35 years. And you're trying to tell me your food service can compare with what essentially the Moulton food service has been for the last 35 plus years? Come on now. I mean, know your place. Know your place.
I would just like to say right now, David, I've never, ever said this to you before on the air. Please don't swear. I know you're great at this, but right now in this food conversation, it's as close as I think in your head as you've come to telling everybody who's offering you food advice that they're number one.
No. I'm not going to tell them that. I'm very appreciative. All right. And I love the fact that, people on our Twitch line and on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line, 479-5551, they're sending in suggestions. And, hey, have you looked up this company? Have you tried this? Hey, there's a local company. There's a local service. No, I'm appreciative because the fact is I'm probably going to have to do something along these lines. I am. I know it. But I'm not in that happy place yet, okay? I'm not there. I mean, please, the show started with a guy calling me Skinny D.
Skinny D?
Right.
Hey, good morning, Skinny D.
Right. Now, for some, remember, if you're on a diet plan, all right, if you're trying to lose weight, that's a compliment. Hey, look at that. The guy thinks I'm Skinny D. Hey, this is fantastic. This is really working. This, that, and the other thing. I wasn't trying to lose weight.
Well, you did start exercising.
No, I was trying to get in 3 inches better shape. I was trying to get up off the couch, walk to the refrigerator, and not be breathing heavy. That's all I was trying to do. And yeah, I lost about 8 to 10 pounds along the way. I mean, Mark, do you know why I started exercising? The coronavirus. I needed to get them out of the house. That's why. I mean, that's what I was faced with. Exercise or boredom that's going to kill me. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm going to choose walking. All right. That's why I started doing that. I need to get out of the house. And now, 2 weeks later, I'm skinny flipping D. My shorts, I put a belt on this morning on my shorts. I went 5 notches in. There were no more notches on the belt. Tucked it in, got up, the shorts fell down to my ankles. And I'm eating green beans.
Green beans are delicious.
They are. I used to, as a kid, we would go through the grocery store, and I used to just grab a bunch and put them in a plastic bag. And this way my mother or my grandmother could spend as much time as they wanted shopping, and I would just walk around eating the green beans.
I'd do it with the green grapes more than the green beans, but I like your style. Couple of texts here.
All right, great. This will be good.
One says, just statewide dominance for recruiting for Mullins Gators till the Knowles and Canes return to the conversation. A win over Dem Dogs would put the bite in the chomp.
No doubt.
He followed it up with, sorry, David, we're not going to let you be the guy with the heater after the triple bypass. To the person, and someone says, LOL, David is now backtracking and ripping his mother. LMAO, love you, D. Never mind, now I guess he's doubling down. Yep, that's it.
I love my mom.
I know you do.
Yeah, I'm a mama's boy. I'm proud of it. All right, and I know she's just trying to help. I feel badly for her because I know what she's up against here. I do. I know what she's up against.
Word out of Tallahassee here coming in the last few minutes is that apparently sources saying that Mike Norville is going to meet with the team at 9 a.m.
Yeah, damn right he is.
Well, hey look,
damn right he is.
He made a huge mistake.
Him a liar.
Well, he is a liar.
Well, I understand, but I'm saying his players called him a liar.
No. So, in fact, this is what the person from, it's a radio host, Sasha Stout, I think, says sources say Coach Norville will meet with the team at 9, and that Tashawn Reed, the person who wrote the article or did the interview, didn't misquote him. I mean, basically, no. Nothing misquoted. This is what he said. He lied.
Right. He's not going to be able to say he was misquoted here to his players or to anybody. No. I quoted him correctly. He said that the Florida State coaching staff had talked to every single player individually in these last few days about what's going on in the world and to get their thoughts about life and the pursuit of happiness. And when the players found that out yesterday, they called BS.
And Drew Brees has already issued an apology.
An apology?
Correct.
He went apology?
I would like to apologize to my friends, teammates. He did it on Instagram 11 minutes ago. I would like to apologize to my friends, teammates, the city of New Orleans, the black community, the NFL community, anyone that I hurt with my comments yesterday. In speaking with some of you, it breaks my heart to know the pain I've caused. In an attempt to talk about respect, unity, and solidarity centered around the American flag and the national anthem, I made comments that were insensitive and completely missed the mark on issues we are facing right now as a country. They lacked awareness and any type of compassion or empathy. Instead, those words have become divisive and hurtful and have misled people into believing that somehow I am an enemy. This could not be further from the truth and is not an accurate reflection of my heart or my character. This is where I stand. I stand with the black community in the fight against systemic racial injustice and police brutality and support the creation of real policy change that will make the difference. I condemn the years of oppression that have taken place throughout our black communities and still exist today. I acknowledge that we as Americans, including myself, have not done enough to fight for that equality or to truly understand the struggles and plight of the black community. I recognize that I am part of the solution and can be a leader for the black community in this movement. I will never know what it's like to be a black man or to raise black children in America, but I will work every day to put myself in those shoes and fight for what is right. I have always been an ally, never an enemy. I am sick about the way my comments were perceived yesterday, but I take full responsibility and accountability. I recognize that I should do less talking and more listening, and when the black community is talking for their pain, we all need to listen. For that, I am very sorry, and I ask your forgiveness.
479-5551, 479-5551. Here is the only problem I have with that. By the way, it's a great statement. I mean, it's a beautiful statement.
Yes, it is.
I just don't know if you could get from here to there in less than 24 hours.
You know what?
I'm trying to think about things in my life that have happened that have caused me to change my tune about something on a dime. I mean, he gave this interview in the middle of the day yesterday, Mark. And 18 hours later, he's releasing that statement, which is a great statement.
But he never in the statement talks about what he said. He just talks about talking to people and what it meant to people. And so
well, he referenced it. He talked about unity and the flag and the anthem. And so he referenced what he said. But, there's a part of me, and I understand, public relations, you put, damage control, you do it as quickly as possible. You put the thing to bed. You want the story to last as short a period of time as possible.
I think what Sean just said in our Twitch chat room is, I think he says it better than I could right now. I don't think Breeze has a change of opinion, just that he understands what he said and how it affected people.
Do you think that you can come to that conclusion as quickly as he did? Genuinely.
I think when his phone rang all day yesterday from teammates, I think Drew Brees got yelled at yesterday by a lot of people that he considers friends.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I think his phone, I think he had to have some really uncomfortable conversations yesterday with the... Yeah, I do think that you can. Because what we have stated throughout this show is that Drew Brees is a really good human being. He has done nothing but good his whole life.
Well, and he's been in New Orleans for 14 years, and he's the J.J. Watt of New Orleans. I mean, in terms of off the field and charitable causes and raising of money, never mind what he represents to that community. I mean, they believe when seemingly the world was abandoning them and Katrina had hit, because the Dolphins screwed up, Drew Brees chose New Orleans. And then in his first year there, leads them to the NFC Championship game, a place that they had never been before. And so he is a hero. And we use that word a little too often. But he is truly a hero in that community. And that's why his comments yesterday raised such an uproar. He's their guy.
And David, when you're their guy, and last night during a peaceful protest, the protesters are chanting F Drew Brees, and they're not omitting the three letters that I did.
No.
You don't think that guy was in some... I mean, look it. You know, there are a lot of people that can say, I don't give a damn what people say about me. Bull. I've worked in the public arena for a long time. I've learned to let a lot of it go, but trust me, I have had some nasty letters sent to me, and they affect you.
I tried to keep those anonymous.
I know you do.
No. I meant the nasty letters I sent to you.
That's
you
what I
weren't
mean.
supposed to know about them.
Well,
right?
I mean, I don't know who they're from, but they affect me.
No.
And they always have, to a certain degree.
A couple of them were from me.
And I'm not surprised. And
Right.
and you try to, even when you don't agree with them, you try to take a little bit of what they say and do some self-checking on what you are. And I think he did. I think when a town where you're loved one day and the next day they're chanting F Drew Brees, if that's not a gut punch, a reality check, I don't know what is, David.
Okay. Well, but to me, that's an important question to ask, because will it be seen as simply PR damage control, or will it be seen as genuine? Because let me tell you, there are a few players on that team that if they think Drew Brees is going to pay lip service now to this, they will publicly say at some point during the season, number 9's just playing lip service. He's just worried about his image. ... Also, New Orleans. All right. Heavy minority community. Also. Just
65% black community, New Orleans is.
That's why I'm just wondering whether or not, since this now has turned around so quickly, is it actually a touch too quick? I mean, that's why I asked, is 18 hours, Mark, enough time to listen? And remember, there's sleep involved here. I mean, basically, Drew Brees has been listening for 8 to 10 hours. He gave his interview in the middle of the day. His phone blew up for the rest of the day and into the night. All right. Then he went to bed. Then he got up with his folks and they crafted this statement. I mean, so his listening tour was 8 to 10 hours. Is that enough time to genuinely change your tune about something? Now, I will say there have been times in my life in which, like, if my mother gets in my grill about something, I mean, that'll sober me up. That would get me to, when my grandfather, the handful of times in his life that he got at me about something, I mean, I damn near was in a fetal position in the corner. I mean, if he vehemently disagreed with something that I said or did, I mean, that could get me to change my tune on a dime. And so that's why I'm just wondering. I mean, is it Malcolm Jenkins? Is it Michael Thomas? Do you think it is possible for a guy who gave the same answer 4 years removed? I mean, he believed what he said yesterday. Make no mistake about it, because he said the exact same thing 4 years earlier.
Yep.
And so is 8 to 10 hours of your phone ringing nonstop and people on the other end going, Jane, you ignorant slut, all right, is that enough?
Depends on who the people were, David. It depends. You just said it. There are two people that could change your opinion on something instantly.
Yes.
Well, there's more than two in my world. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm wrong a lot. And in the last 7 days, if we haven't all reflected on our opinions on things and had some personal moments where we're confused as hell or mad or whatever it is, then I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it's a beautiful statement, but to me, it's just a little too quick and a little too polished, if you know what I mean. There's a part of me that, I would have been saying to him, you know what? Take a few days. Go actually talk to some people. Listen some more. Next week, come out and go, I've spent the last 5 days talking to a bunch of people. Here's what I've learned and what I've learned about myself. All right. Now, granted, the talking head shows have nothing else to talk about, and you'd get verbally beaten about the head and chest for a few days. But I think if he came out, Mark, I think, God, if he came out tomorrow, just gave himself a little bit of time to actually listen. But your point is, hey, it doesn't take many people, doesn't take many conversations to change your tune. I mean, you're right. I mean,
It
you
shouldn't.
and I, we're both married. I mean, if a lot of people listening are married. I mean, if all of a sudden your spouse gets in your grill about something, I mean, that'll get your attention. That'll get you to go, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. I mean,
that's what I refer to as last Saturday in my house.
Well, I understand. I understand. There was a time, my daughter, a few years ago, talked to me about something significant, and it sobered me up. It's like, ooh, wow, okay. So I get it. I guess it could happen in 10 minutes, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just too cynical.
Well, you certainly are that. I mean, it is one of your most redeeming qualities, and I love it because no, I love it because I like that I read that and I was good for you, and you're questioning every bit of it, and that's fine.
It just seems a little too perfect, a little too soon. It's a glorious statement, by the way. I will say, of all the statements that have been crafted here in the last 10 days, that's a top statement. I mean, it's not the Ben and Jerry statement. I mean, right now, that's the gold standard of statements. But the Drew Brees statement there is a top 10 statement.
Well, let me just ask you this. Drew issues the statement, and now we see him over the course, and it still could be contrived like this person just said that his agent had it there for him this morning for him to release. Let's just say he goes out and he's on the streets of New Orleans today listening to people and talking to people, and we see him very actively helping this situation. Then does that change your mind, or is then he just doing more lip service to save his image? I mean, are we going to be cynical forever about Drew Brees, who we thought before yesterday was a really good guy?
He is a really good guy. All right, nothing's changed that. I mean, he's literally he might have raised $100 million for charity in the New Orleans area during his 14 years there. I mean, he's a really good guy. But Mark, I'm trying to see, he's already done. He talks to people. He's involved in charities. I mean, if you're in the New Orleans area, as you just mentioned, I mean, 2 out of every 3 people is a person of color. I mean, to think that he hasn't done work in the black community during his 14 years there, of course he has. But Mark, to me, the only thing that he could do that I think would show, I mean, I guess he's going to have to kneel for the anthem at some point. When Malcolm Jenkins and Michael Thomas and a few others, the first game of the year, are kneeling for the anthem, I'd be interesting to see what Drew Brees does here.
Right. Got this text. Great text, David. It says, David, fantastic insight into the Drew Brees comment. But last night I was in a Zoom forum with a group from New York that included people of different color, and I was the lone white person. After our 2-hour conversation, my mind was changed about a lot of things, and I'm 65 years old. I've always been supportive of the difficulties of minorities in our country. Last night I felt their pain, and it became my pain too. So it is possible for someone like Drew Brees, who is genuine, to switch quickly.
Good. Miller and Moulton, feel free to chime in. Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line 479-5551, 479-5551.
And he's a 65-year-old that I know watches us on Twitch.
Get out.
He was having a problem with the stream today, and he said, Twitch is seamless. Who knows? He's on Twitch.
That's
doing
fantastic.
Zoom meetings, doing Twitch. Living, baby.
Miller and Skinny D on Twitch. The good, the better, and the best is next here on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Welcome to the program.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I look back on Andy Dalton's career, and he's actually underrated with what he did in Cincinnati. Patriots, Jags are places that he could compete for the job. It's not like Jameis Winston going to the Saints, which I love the move. He's going to learn, or at least he's going to be given the opportunity to go to class with Sean Payton and Drew Brees.
Dan Patrick. The Dan Patrick Show.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor, the Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here.
Heat pumps take heat out of the air and put it in your pool. They cost less to run than gas heaters, and you won't have panels on your roof. Special pricing, rebates, and free on-site evaluations. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls.
2 good days, 2 bad days so far.
That's mypooldoctor.com
Yeah.
or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
I do think the key is I got to stand up
Yeah.
more and earlier.
Galliana Kia in Fort Myers is
I just
open
can't
and
stay
we're
in
here
the
to help.
chair.
Over 400 vehicles in stock.
Chair's
New
comfortable,
2020 Kia Forte LXS lease, 0 down, $149 per month. That's right, a new Kia for $149 per month with 0 down. Plus at Galliana Kia in Fort Myers, you can drive payment-free for 4 months, interest-free for up to 75 months, and worry-free for 100,000 miles. Plus prepaid gas for up to a year. Our parts service and body shop are open to serve you. New Kias, 0 down, $149 per month at Galliana Kia, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana. Galliana Kia.
36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, 0 to 8 signing plus tax, tag, title, doc, and dealer fee. 0 security deposit, $13.33 per month per thousand borrowed for 75 months at 0 APR with 0 down.
Cathedral Roofing Innovations. Now, Hurricane Irma was a long time ago, but believe it or not, problems with tile roofs, they continue to occur as a result. Now, many homeowners are just now feeling the effects of the hidden damage that occurred to their tile roof. Now, whether it's new leaks, cracked, unsecured tiles, these roofs are living on borrowed time. Now, tile roofs, by nature of their design, are susceptible to lift and powerful storms like hurricanes. When this occurs, your tile underlayment can be compromised, but you would not realize it until possibly years later. Now, with Cathedral Roofing Innovations, you get a great roofing company to inspect your roof for any damage. And just because you don't have leaks doesn't mean you don't have issues. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com. They are the tile experts in Naples, and they will start the inspection process right away. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com. cathedralroofingnaples.com.
License number CCC 1331928.
You see about Hannity?
Listen to Miller and
What?
at home on your Amazon
Apparently,
Alexa.
he and his
Just
now
say,
ex-wife,
Alexa,
they got divorced like a year and a half
Fox
ago,
Sports FM on
and it was
TuneIn.
never made public. Somebody found out a couple days ago, and they were both like, yeah, we split up amicably like 18 months ago. We're still good friends. We still have dinners together. You know, basically, it's like, yeah, I'm a workaholic. I'm a tough guy to be married to. We get along great. Everything's fine. So all of a sudden, there were these headlines. Hannity got divorced. Yeah, apparently he'd been divorced for like a year and a half. They've been separated for like 3. Yet she would appear with him at certain events. Good for them. It's tough to pull off in the public eye there.
Express our appreciation for all that you do as you serve on the front lines, and that's why we're offering $1,500 off bilateral LASIK for first responders. All EMTs, firefighters, police officers.
He's going to have our decision to make here.
Hospitals and minor emergency clinics are eligible to receive this benefit through May 31st. Dr. Jonathan France, one of the original pioneers in the field of LASIK surgery, and his expert team of surgeons at France Eye Care want to help you experience better vision and a better life without the hassle of contacts and glasses. In addition to this amazing $1,500 off LASIK special, France Eye Care now offering free LASIK screenings through virtual consultations. Dial ** 2020 from your mobile phone to schedule a virtual consultation at a convenient time for you. Thank you, first responders.
France Eye Care.
From the best headlines,
The best.
to the worst,
It's the worst thing that ever happened to anybody ever.
prepare yourself and hide the women and children. This is Mark Miller's Good, Bad, and Ugly on Fox Sports Radio.
You're live.
For the good today, we go to Enola, Pennsylvania, where for the last 5 years, Leanne Kolb has been running the Panther Pack meal distribution program. Helps students in need. She gets donations each week. And now, with the pandemic, it's been even tougher. But she feeds hundreds of families. And now, since the coronavirus has started, obviously it's happened in a bigger way. She has now gotten different groups involved and has continued to feed students in need throughout the coronavirus. It's happened for 5 years, and it just keeps going on. With the protest, and for the better, we go to Chicago. With the protest going on, the Chicago Public Schools suspended its free meal program for a day because of the evolving nature of activity across the city. But kids who rely on the program obviously still needed the food. That's where Caesar's Killer Margaritas stepped in. They offered boxed lunches on Monday and Tuesday. A few other restaurants in Chicago jumped in to make sure all those kids who needed a free meal got a free meal.
Wow, good for them.
Absolutely. And finally, we go to the best, where a lot of companies are doing big things. Warby Parker has jumped on. The online eyeglass retailer has pledged to donate $1 million to organizations focused on ending racial justice. And that is the good, the better, and the best on this June 4th in the longest year in humanity, 2020.
Dak Prescott, I believe, pledged $1 million.
Yes, he did. Yesterday.
Earlier this week, yeah. So, and it's funny because he hasn't made a ton of money playing football. Now he's made a decent amount of bucks off the field.
As you said, being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. What was Pat's number? Thinks it's worth $10 million a year?
Yeah, and I agree with him. I mean, at worst, I think it's worth $8 million. I really do. You know, he's fortunate. He was there and was able to step in and get a couple of endorsements when others fell by the wayside. But, yeah, I think there's real value. Never mind the fact there's no state tax there. I mean, I'm sorry. If I'm Jerry, there is a number. There's a term and there's a number, and I have no problem looking them dead in the eye and going, sorry, not $1 more.
Well, and
if you want to walk, I'll go find another one look just like
right.
you. Sorry.
The point that Pat made, and it's the $10 million is really the big one. Okay, if they're offering $35 million, he's not getting $45 somewhere else. May get $38.
Right.
But the Cowboys quarterback is worth $10 million.
Never mind the fact you're 26 years old. I mean, you have a chance to be the Dallas Cowboys quarterback for a generation. Let's be honest. You have a chance to be the longest tenured quarterback in the history of that franchise. I mean, you really do. I mean, Troy retired fairly young. I mean, Troy put like 12 years into the league. I mean, I believe he walked away at like 33, 34. You know, Romo ended up having about a 10-year run as the starter. You know, Staubach, because of his Navy commitment, you know, Roger, I think, had a 10 or 11-year run in the first few years. He was splitting time with Moulton. I mean, Dak Prescott has a chance to be the all-time leader from that position in games played and all the stats and all that. That's a pretty good gig. Quarterback of the Cowboys.
We always knew that. I think as a sports fan, you always knew that, but you've really made me appreciate it more. Obviously, Troy's just not a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame,
right?
3-time Super Bowl winning champion, Dallas Cowboys quarterback. But, you know, you've pointed out to me when you do games in Dallas that
he's a Beatle.
That's it. He's a Beatle.
He's Paul McCartney. He really is. It is difficult to describe. I mean, C's part if you're around Troy Aikman in Dallas.
And so that's part of what, and look, Dak doesn't have to win 3 to get that.
Oh, my goodness.
If Dak were to get them 1. It's over. I mean, from a financial standpoint, your work after playing career does not have to happen because you can just endorse stuff in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for the rest of your life and make a really good living.
Yeah. Hey, Dak, what are you doing these days? Being Dak Prescott. I mean, seriously, that's what his life would be like. He could do whatever he wants, obviously. But, hey, what are you up to? Just being Dak.
Yeah.
I won a Super Bowl in Dallas, you know. Played here about 12, 15 years.
And you live there forever and you get the golden ticket.
Good. Right.
It's the golden ticket.
Miller and Moulton. Make sure you vote in our poll question at that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. We'll see you tomorrow, Fox Sports Radio.